No, give me a proper good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So, how many of you have seen me here before or seen me on stage before? So you know what's coming your way. 3, 2, 1. Okay, for those of you who didn't, now you know what to do. Let's do this again. 3, 2, 1. It's a train crash. Let's try this side of the room first. 3, 2, 1. They kicked your ass, so you got a chance to redeem yourself. Let's try this. 3, 2, 1. Everybody together. 3, 2, 1. Okay, now it's a good morning. Boss, we're getting echo. So, thank you very much for being here today. And I want to say first thing is you guys are awesome. So give yourselves a big round of applause. Do you know why? Because other people chose to stay in bed. Other people chose to go do something useless. Other people let yesterday or last night take over something more important this morning. They woke up and got lazy and said, nah, I couldn't be bothered. So you guys are making a step towards making your life better and more importantly, spread your message to the world. So as you might know, I'm an international speaker, author, and coach, and my area of expertise is passion. So, being passionate, I'm traveling the world, interviewing people. I've authored 3 books. One of them won the International Academy of Best-Selling Authors. I've co-authored with Brian Tracy. Today's not about me. That's why I have not put my credentials bit up there. But just so you know, so I'm passionate about traveling the world. I've done 180 interviews one-to-one with the world's best of the best in every single area. And what happened is the process of me getting a book out was like a dream that I had. How many here has a dream to write a book? All of us. Good. So I had this dream, and when I started, one of the best advices that were given to me by Dr. Marshall Goldsmith. Who knows that Marshall Goldsmith? He's world's #1 executive coach. So he was guiding me, and he said, one of the 3 advices he gave me is he said, write a book. I'm like, okay, Dr. Marshall tells me to write a book. I'm going to write a book. And oh my God. How many of you have tried to write your book? And I'm like, it was painful. But then I'm like, listen, I'm the passion guy. Keep working hard at it, keep working hard at it, keep working hard at it. And I finally find a publisher in the US. I speak to Brian Tracy. He connects me with his publisher. That's half of the job done. He puts his name next to my name. And I'm like, okay, that makes life easy. And I thought it was just going to happen by itself. And I'm working at it, working at it. How many associates with what I'm talking about now, yeah? It's hard work. And then I got the first book out and an ebook and another book. And next thing is I fly all the way to Australia and I sponsor the Australia Professional Speakers Summit. And I'm standing there and I find this nice little young lady walking in and she's talking about how she helped a lot of people write books. I'm like, let me explain. I've tried book coaches and they don't work. Okay, how many of you have tried a book coach before? Yeah, well, most of them don't work. So I'm like, listen, if you're a book coach, I've tried these book coaches, I've spent money, I've spent time, and all they keep telling what I already know, which is already on the internet, which is the step 1 to 10 and what you should do and should do. Yes? I'm like, no, that's not what I want. I don't want like just this general blueprint and stuff like this. She goes, no, you don't understand. I've helped over 200 people become published authors. I'm like, hold on. I've reached out to Hay House. Who knows Hay House here? Yeah, I've reached out. You know about got those emails where they tell you we're going to help you. How many of you bought that package? Yeah, how many of you finished using that package? No hands go up. I've tried that package. They charge like, I don't know, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. They give you a lot of stuff. They send you email, but you still find yourself stuck trying to get something done. And then she goes, no. People come to me. I work with them a little bit on coaching. We run a nice retreat for a couple of days where they just record what they want to say, and the next thing they know is a few months later, they've got a book on their desk. I'm like, nah, come on. She goes, no, that's exactly what it is. I thought she wasn't for real. I go asking around, and I checked, she actually had over 200 people published. I went back to her, and I called her. I said, listen, you need to come to Dubai. People need to hear about this, because I wish that someone like you was here when I started, and I've actually just made a deal there. I'm going to be doing all my books moving forward with her. Okay, that's going to be like a book a year with her. How many of you would aspire to write a book a year? Yeah, well, guess what? You got to get over the first book, because that's the hardest one. So without trying to tell you more about the system, because I've summarized it in as much as I can think, but there's a lot more to it. You know, I'm making it sound easy. Yeah, build a building. Yeah, so she knows a lot better. And she came in and I said, listen, I have to bring you here no matter what it takes, what it costs, and we've been trying to work out dates and we barely managed to squeeze within her schedule only this date for Dubai, and she's not coming here till next year. So you guys got a great opportunity to listen to her. I will urge you all to grab your phones, please. Everybody's got one of them. The distraction system. Please put it on silent out of respect to everybody. Feel free to take screenshots, videos, pictures, tag on social media. Please, please, please do not ring. That's all I ask you to do. We're going to have 2 sessions. We're going to start now. We're going to take a break in around 2 hours. Our breaks are timed, as you can see. For a Dubai timing, we're right on the clock with the start. Okay? So we're going to keep it like this. So stay focused. Take as many notes as you want. And then we're going to get a quick break. We're going to come back in, and Natasha's going to run the show past this. I'll only talk to you at the end again. So let's hear a big, passionate round of applause for Natasha!
Yes! Woohoo! Thank you. Awesome. Welcome. Good morning, everybody. And Dubai, first time ever. Oh my God, I've had a year of firsts this year. I have launched in the US. I have gone all around Australian towns I have never visited before. And now I'm here and I can't believe it. It's so surreal and how it all happened with Moustafa, and I'm so grateful to him and to Passion Sundays for sponsoring us to come across and be with you guys today. So this event could not be possible without all his hard work. Oh my God, we've been on Facebook, on Skype, on everything, you know, and he runs a really tight ship. I'm more like the clown of the duo, okay? I'll make you laugh and I get the job done though, but he keeps everyone tight ship. Like Jojo's been following me around all morning. He goes, make sure you stay close to her. She's your crew member and all that sort of stuff. So I'm super excited. This event is my signature event. So I have run this 140 times, okay? It's almost like it happens on autopilot, but every group that I stand in front of has their own personality, their own wants and desires, what they want to learn from it. So I do encourage you guys to be interactive. I know we have a big group. Hands up if we're going to ask questions, and make sure I can see your name tags because I do like to call people by their name. I know it's hard in a big group, but if I can do it, I will do it. And please, if I don't pronounce it right, just correct me. I don't take any offense. So let's go through little logistics. I know Moustafa went through stuff, but this is how I like to do it. So the bathrooms, you guys would have known, are all the way down the hallway to the right as you walked in. So if you need to use them, please, I don't take offense if you get up and leave the room. It's fine. Coffee and tea is served out there, so as you feel, go out there. And by all means, in the breaks or at the end, if you want some more photos in front of that awesome wall we created, come and I can do really good selfies, no double chins. All right, crew and PowerPoint. Did you see the t-shirts on our crew? Become a published author. Like, I've never done that before. I go, oh my God, we're like super pro here, all right? Told you he runs a tight ship. And so the crew obviously wearing the red t-shirts. They have been briefed on everything. They have studied what I do. I sent them actually to review the footage of this event because I have had it professionally filmed, so they know exactly what I'm going to talk about and so they can answer any of your questions. So please go to them because there's only one of me, and as much as I love the one-on-one, I'm going to be overwhelmed probably today. All right, so event logistics, as we said, session one will go for about 2 hours. We might go over about 10 minutes. Just depends on the book unpack that we will be doing with one person in the room. So in that session one, we're going to go through a little bit of my story, and then we're going to talk about book positioning and then get someone here in the hot seat, and we're going to unpack their book with something I prepared earlier right here. So I'm going to reveal that later. Okay, then we're going to have a 20-minute break. Please, 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 when you hear the soccer, where's Janet? Where is she with the bell? There's a soccer whistle. Please come back into the room because there's so much content I find and struggle to cram it into these 4 hours. I like to start on time, so I'm also very diligent with my timing. In the second session, we're going to go through the publishing industry. So as Moustafa said, most of you here in the room would be writing their first books. Is that correct? Hands up. Everybody, yeah, that's why I think you weren't responding to him very much about, you know, have you checked these guys out? Have you checked those guys out? Because yes, the people who I attract are generally on their very first books. Okay, I specialize in first books because my most important job with all of you guys is to get you to get over yourselves. Okay? Yeah. It is fear that's going to stop you to writing your first book. However, the excuse of time and money is going to come up why you can't do it. Okay? I don't have the time, it's not the right time, I'll do it in a year, or, oh God, I can't afford this, da 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 da. But it's actually fear and self-doubt that's going to stop you from actually taking the leap and backing yourself and saying that you are the expert. Because who's the first person who has to say that you're the expert? You, right? You have to do that, and you'll hear about my story as well. So then, at the end, I do like to leave an open Q&A 10-minute session. So we do have some roaming mics, but if it's not too big a group, we might be able to hear you even from the audience. And then qualifying chats, not with Nat and Stu, but some of you who are VIPs and who've pre-filled out your qualifier, thank you so much. We're able to read all your answers and to make sure you're suitable to what we do and who we help. Okay, because we don't help everybody. We're not for everybody. We don't work with fiction books. We don't work with children's books. So if you're in this room wanting to write one of those books, it's fine. You're going to get a ton of value from today. But you will not be qualified for the bigger program, right? For the whole program. We work with personal development books. We work with expert books, how-to style books, and autobiographical kind of type of books, yeah? And you'll get the gist of it as I'm going through the content today, and you may have walked in with an idea, and then it's like, oh shit, I need to change this because I'm not going to make more money this way rather than what I originally thought. Okay? Who wants to make money? Yeah. Everybody, right? We love money, right? Because it helps other people. It serves other people. It changes and makes a difference. If you're poor, you can't help your children, your family, nobody. Right? It's when you help yourself, you can then help other people. All right? So it's not bad to want money. And I know you guys are actually more comfortable with that here. Australians are really, really, oh no, I don't want to do it. Just want to help people. That's how they are. But I know you guys, you're right. I want to make money in your forms. And I said, good. I'm coming to a good place. All right. So what the qualifying chats means is that some of you have qualified. At the break, you will be given a qualifying form. And my husband's sitting at home, my partner, and second in charge, and he'll get photos of your forms. So he will be reading through them and telling the crew, yes, this is a good book, this is not. And if I need to clarify further, we're going to have breakout rooms at the end where I can talk with smaller groups. So we'll guide you through the process throughout the whole day. All right? So, who here has heard of the miracle of the Chinese bamboo? Who's heard of that? Just one person. Awesome. You're in for a treat. I'm going to play you a 4-minute video. Now that may seem long in today's world, but it has a bigger meaning and story behind it. Now, it's a perfect metaphor for what Ultimate 48-Hour Author is. So you're going to only watch half of it though, because the second half I'm going to show you at the end of today. All right? So here we go.
I'd like to introduce you to the miracle of Chinese bamboo. It all begins with a seed and with the vision of someone willing to wait. A Chinese farmer, usually struggling to survive and provide for his family, plants the seed and sets his hope and vision on all it will provide when it towers 90 feet above his head. With a heart toward the future, he digs hole after hole, plants the seeds, then begins their care. Day after day, he carries water to the spots he has marked. And because it's human nature to want to see results, he carefully inspects the spots every day. Nothing. Knowing he has to feed his family, he plants other crops, carefully sown around the spots that contain the real hope for his future. He continues to water them every day, feeding them carefully and watching. Nothing. The other crops sprout within weeks, providing nourishment for his family within months, but provide nothing for the future. These crops will not make his dreams come true. They will simply provide for the present. The Chinese bamboo seeds contain all his hopes, his dreams. A whole year goes by. Nothing. He continues to haul water. He stares endlessly at the spots, but sees nothing but barren ground. His hopes, his dreams seem so very far away. There is no evidence of life. Has the seed rotted? Has it died before it ever had a chance to grow? Another year goes by. Nothing. His neighbors, those who don't know and believe in the miracle of the Chinese bamboo, laugh at him. They mock his vision for the future. They look on with scorn as he hauls buckets of water to the spots. He begins to question himself. Will it ever grow? Is he pouring water and his life's energy into something that will reap no reward for him? Another year goes by. Nothing. 3 years of pouring water, energy, and hope into the Chinese bamboo. Nothing to show for it. Yet he's heard of the miracle of the Chinese bamboo. He's heard of the huge rewards that come to those who believe. One day he stands over the spots and he cries his frustration and fears. The spots reveal nothing, the barren ground seeming to mock him, yet the wind whispers hope to him. He sighs and hauls yet more buckets of water. Another year goes by. Nothing. 4 years. 4 years of hoping, wishing, and diligently tending his dream. Surely the miracle will happen now. His neighbors have quit laughing. They no longer even care. Yet they talk quietly among themselves of the farmer who isn't quite right. At this point, the farmer isn't even sure. Yet he's fallen into a habit, so he continues to water the spots. He continues to feed them. It's simply what he does now, with no knowledge of reward, just the simple, now unspoken hope that life resides beneath the spots he so carefully tends. Another year passes. Nothing. 5 years. The farmer is tired of hauling buckets, tired of growing and tending so many other crops to feed his struggling family, tired of trying to keep his dream alive, tired of seeing no results day after day. He stares hopelessly at the spots. There could not possibly be life after so many years. He must have watered them wrong. He must not have fed them correctly. If only he had done things differently, there would be growth. Despair rocks his soul. 5 years he has poured into his dream, into his hope for a better future. His dream mocks him. The vision of a better life for his family melts away under harsh reality. Tears fill his eyes as he grabs for the last hope residing in his soul and slowly lifts the bucket to pour water onto his dream. After 5 years, he realizes it would be folly to give up.
Cool. So how long have you guys been waiting to write a book? Who's been waiting to write a book more than 3 years? Okay. More than 5? Keep your hands up. More than 10? Oh my God. All right. So those of you more than 10 years, stop it right now. Today's the day that needs to change. One thing I forgot to say is the PowerPoint that you are seeing, please don't copy stuff off it. We're sending you a thank you email after today. So please write stuff that I say over and above, because I do say lots of cool stuff. And you will get that and little thank you and the template for what we'll be doing in the book unpacks. I've already sent that through to everyone. So just so you guys know. And yeah, and you'll see the second half of that video in a minute. So what I'd like us to do now, because you're not just going to sit there and listen to me, we're going to do stuff together. You will listen, but we are going to workshop as well as talk. I want you to turn to the buddy next to you, or if there's 2 or 3, if there's not even numbers in your rows, just in groups of 2 or 3. And I'm going to literally give you 5 minutes total, and I want you guys to interview each other on these 3 questions. Why are you here today? What's the biggest challenge when you think about writing a book? And what will happen if you did nothing about it? And together as a group, we're going to unpack it, because I believe that people need reasons before they want answers. Is that true? Okay, so we're going to build up a big why, and also so I can serve you best, because I want to see exactly what your challenges are. I've read it through the forms that came through the VIPs. That's awesome, but I want also everyone else to think actively about this throughout the day. All right, so go. Turn to the buddy next to you and start talking. All right, if you can hear me, put your hand up. If you can hear me, put your hand up. If you can hear me, put your hand up. And that's how you get a big room to go quiet. All right, you guys. I know you may not have finished. It's okay, because if you didn't, it's fine. It's more like to get you talking to each other, networking, getting to know each other. It's not just about me, it's about everyone else that's in this room as well. So do connect with people and stay connected beyond today, all right? Perfect. All right, so we're going to unpack these separately, one at a time, and we're going to come up with the top 5 to 7 answers, because obviously there's going to be common answers across the room. Please, hands up. We're going to try this without the roaming mics to see how it goes. If we need them, we'll use them. I prefer, because it'll just make it a lot faster for us to get this down on paper. Okay, so why was your buddy here today? Ooh. Yes? To publish a book. Yes, publish a book. I always say, did you listen to your buddy? Because sometimes people go, oh, I just talked about myself. And it's okay, if you didn't listen, tell me about you. And if you did listen, tell me about your buddy. All right, what else? Not talking, hands up.
Kira here has 4 kids, and she just wants to really put across her idea for children education and how they can really like the experiences that she has with her kids.
Okay, so unpack an idea. Unpack an idea. We'll summarize that. Unpack an idea. Before I keep going, can I get a hands up who has their own business or is transitioning into a business or wants to build a business behind their book? Okay, about 50% of the room. Cool, that's all right. Excellent. What else? Now, who had hands up? Let's go. Yes?
Maintain the momentum,
Momentum. Yeah, I love it. Momentum. Yes. Ultimate. By the way, who here stalked me on social media, on the internet? And did you guys see that we run retreats? Yeah? Oh, good. Because Moustafa, as he said, yeah, I'm returning in January when we're hosting our retreat here. So you'll find out about that as we go through the day. All right, what else? Yes?
To build my brand.
Build your brand. You're in the right room. I love it. Build my brand. Yes. Yes, Sarah.
The title of your
Title, yeah.
hours.
Oh, how do you do it? Oh my God, you know you're the first person ever to tell me that, because every time I ask the question, they go all around and around and around and around. I said, don't you guys want to know how to write a book in 48 hours? And they go, oh yeah, that was too obvious. So yes, how to do it in 48 hours, absolutely. Yes? Direction, yes. Yep. What else? One more. Yes? Authority, beautiful. Credibility, yes? And all of that? Perfect. All right, so what are the biggest challenges when you think about writing a book? There was a hand up. Back. Yes, and your... brain funk, like self-doubt. Yes, self-doubt. The number one reason why people don't write books is self-doubt. Or I call it, you call it brain funk, I'll call it mental funk. A fog, brain fog. Ah, yes, okay. Perfect, yes. Time. The number 2 reason why people don't write books is time/procrastination. Okay, yes. You had your hand up?
I was going to say
This procrastination. All right, yes, so in the red, Hilda.
where do you start?
Starting point, yes. Yes. You have a desire, but you just don't know where to start. Yes.
A lack of structure.
Structure, yes.
To say stop here and go.
Yeah, it's almost like the system on start to finish. Yes, sir. Money, yeah, absolutely. Money is definitely in the equation. A couple more people, yes.
Belief that you can do it.
Belief, yes, belief I can do this. And right at the back. Focus, yes, that's a really good one. Or topic choice, I'll put that one, yes, topic choice. Because if you don't choose a sexy enough topic or a topic that can be monetized, because there's all sorts of books you can do that are good for the world and all that, but if people cannot afford to buy your services beyond that, you can't monetize it. It's really unfortunate, and this is the people I will also disqualify. So when I had question marks over some of the qualifying forms, those that I didn't upgrade to VIP, is because I had a doubt in my mind that they could monetize their book. And I will not sign up people into my program that I cannot see monetizing their book. Because we don't need to work with tons of people. We work with 60 to 80 authors a year. You'll learn about me. I'm very family focused. This is why this event is kind of massive for me. In Australia, I do 35 to 40 people per city per event, because I do want to get to know and be on the ground with people and actually make them feel like they're part of our family. And you'll get the sense about this throughout the day today. Okay? So those are really good challenges. All right, let's go through the last one. Yeah, one more.
Yes,
Yeah.
Fame
Issues, yeah, that comes also like that self-doubt, fear of criticism and all that sort of stuff, yeah. Issues with fame, yeah. You know, what will happen? You know, will people be putting me down, criticizing me? Yes, Maria.
Which type of the people they need to read my book? Which type of the people?
Who is the target market?
Yes.
Yes, that'll tie in with the topic as well. Yeah, cool.
There's this thing where some people want to be writers,
Yes.
but they also want to be something else, like a YouTuber or something. So they find that brand parity a bit hard to manage. You can't be a YouTuber and an intellectual writer. Some people have this challenge. I don't know how to put it in a word or a topic.
I don't think I'm getting you, but let's talk about it later. But maybe it's like, what's my focus? What am I going to focus on monetizing the most? Is it my YouTube channel or me being an author? Is that what you meant? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's keep going, guys. The last one. All right. So the obvious answer is nothing. Okay. If I do nothing, nothing happens. Please don't give me that one. Everyone gives me that one. All right. Aside from nothing, what will happen if you did nothing about it? Yes. Regret. Yes. What else? Yes. Lost opportunities and lost money, yes? Dissatisfied? Yes, lack of satisfaction. Yes, sir.
Just being stuck the same way.
Stuck. Yeah, like, have any of you in the room started a book and you've been kind of working on it for 3, 5, 6, 7 years? Any of you? All right, I've got a tip for you. Stop moving around deck chairs. Stop moving them around. Like, the book is probably irrelevant now because you've grown and you've evolved and you've done stuff. This is why I've brought out 8 books in 8 years, because every year I learn new stuff. I need to write a new book. Because the Ultimate 48-Hour Author book was written 3.5 years ago. If I had to rewrite it, it'll be a totally different book now. It's actually, I keep it more simple, because back then my thinking was simpler. It's actually more realistic for the people who are just starting out. So that's why I actually don't want to write a second new edition, because it might just get more sophisticated. I allow people to get more sophisticated when they come on the journey with me. But every book, if I was going to rewrite it, it'll be different now. Even the latest book that I wrote with my husband, Guilt-Free Parents, now if I start it again, it'll be different, even though it came out like a month ago. Yeah? All right, so stop moving around deck chairs. This is why getting in and out and getting it out there as quickly as possible makes it more relevant for you and for your market. All right, aside from, yes, start, couple more here. Yes?
Somebody else would do.
Someone else would do it. Okay, let's talk about that one for a second. One thing I just want to make super clear, because I tend to attract a lot of people from the personal development field, and they want to tell their story, they want to help other people, right? How many personal development books are out there? The most, yeah? In the most, probably in any genre. One thing I'm going to tell you is own who you are. Because if you don't own the uniqueness of who that is you, doesn't matter if there are thousands of personal development books. I mean, there's thousands of weight loss books, and yet my first book was on weight loss, right? If you own who you are, doesn't matter if someone else does a similar topic, because people at the end of the day are buying you. They're buying you and nobody else, because they buy into who you have become and the solution that you have solved for yourself, and then now they want the help and the shortcuts of how you got there. Yeah? So don't worry about other people. The one thing, are there any coaches in the room? Life coaches or counselors, all those kind of people? Great. I started out as a coach. And when I go networking, half the room in a networking event were other coaches. It's like, oh my God. But the one thing I always said, and I said this to Moustafa because he asked me the first question, he goes, who else is doing what you're doing? Have you checked out your competition? And have you done this and that? Because he's very detailed as a person. And I said, no, I don't care what other people are doing, actually. I said, I've never researched any topic I've written on. I've just gone out, achieved the solution, created the system behind it, and I said, don't worry about other people. No one can do the Natasha Denman flavour. Okay, I'm me, and no one's got my DNA. They can try to copy me, but they can't take the me out of my business. All right? Write that one down. Write that. Oh, you're lovely. Thank you. All right, one last one before we get into it. Yes, very back of the room. Waste of knowledge. And actually, you brought me to the perfect one to finish this segment on, is stop being selfish. Because if you waste your knowledge, you're being selfish and you're not helping other people. You're not showing them the shortcuts, and you're making them make all those mistakes that you made as well, right? So don't be wasteful, and get over yourself and get out there and do it. Because your first book is also going to be your worst book, right? So you may as well get it out of the way. You know, my editor says, oh my God, your writing is improving. Every book you write is better and better and better. And I go, really? Okay, that's really good to know. But yeah. All right, you guys. So for the next 20 odd minutes, in a minute, I'm going to tell you my story. And I'm not telling you my story because I want to talk about myself. It's very important to understand where I came from, which was absolutely nothing, and from a day job where I earned $20 an hour to what it is now, a multiple seven figures probably at the end of this year business, okay? First of all though, let's unpack very briefly the 10 obstacles why I see people come into this room, okay? This is what I have learned over the 140 times I've met people. This is why they're coming. You may fall under one of these categories, 2, 3, or maybe all 10, okay? So first one, you said lack of confidence in self. That was the self-doubt and fear of, am I good enough to do this? Okay, so that's the number one reason people don't write books. Next time was time poor and procrastination. You guys got that one. Lack of effective messaging was the topic, selection, and who's my target market and all of that sort of stuff. People don't know what to choose, therefore they come to an expert and go, what do I choose? I have like these 10 ideas, which one should I do? And when I qualify people, I go, okay, tell me about your 3 ideas. Okay, not this one, do this one. Okay? Because it's all well and good to help people, but if you want to do your passion project that cannot be monetized first, you're probably going to be struggling financially to be able to, get your return on investment. So therefore, I will guide you to the one that's going to be able to be monetized as quickly as possible. Working too hard one-on-one, okay? So those of you that are in business, who works one-on-one with people? Hands up. Isn't it pretty draining and hard? And time-consuming and limited income potential. I worked for 3.5 years as a coach, one-on-one. I was brain fried from 9 a.m. in the morning to 11 p.m. at night with 15-minute breaks. I was like, I lost my voice for 1 month. And me, when I have to do speaking all the time for what I do, it was really hard. So my people who want to work with you ultimately want to see the one-to-many model. And so where it's leveraged, when you can systemize what you do so you can help on a massive scale. And I'm also a big believer that people actually learn and get better results in groups. Who agrees? They do, because all of you, look how many, we are a mastermind right here, right? What question is going to get asked by Jocelyn? Yes? Or Samar or whoever in the room, you might not have thought about asking that question. Therefore, you're adding value without me even doing anything, right? So it's actually more powerful. Don't think people are getting a more customized approach, one-on-one, It's actually more powerful to do one-to-many. People have their community. The momentum that you guys spoke about, like when you're not just accountable to me and Stuart, you're accountable to your retreat attendees to push you through to completion. And when that happens, people finish. Because I'll talk about the percentage of people that actually follow through when they come to seminars and events and invest actually big bucks to getting a solution, and how tiny that is in today's world, okay? Not enough leads. So the next 4 or 5, not enough leads, cash flow, income streams, marketing outcomes, are all very closely tied in around the poor effective messaging. Because if you don't have good messaging, you can't do good advertising that's going to attract people in the rooms. Do you think Ultimate 48-Hour Author is a magic bullet? Does it sound like a magic bullet? Yeah? We smashed it on Facebook ads and to fill these rooms, it was like, Moustafa was like, oh my God, so many people are registering and all this sort of stuff. It's going crazy. Why I know it works well is because I know I've got my pinpoint magic bullet or my hook, and thus all of these then below get taken care of. But these are the issues people have in their businesses and ultimately when they launch a book. And let's talk about the very last one, fear of selling and ineffective selling. Who here loves to sell? Not many people. They don't love selling. Okay, I believe I have solved the issue of the fear around selling. Okay, let me tell you how. So tell me, what do you think when you think of an author? What kind of person are they like? Can we get the temperature in this room colder? Like I'm boiling, if it's possible. Huh? Are you guys hot? Yes. You're not? Maybe because I'm talking at the front here. I'm excited. If we can get it because otherwise you'll fall asleep and you need to be alert. You need to focus on me. Sorry, what kind of a person is an author? What are they like? It's a generalization, yes? Authentic. Yeah, lady next to you? Educated, yes, in the red. Curious, yeah. Focused. Disciplined. Humble, yes. Generally a nice person, that's enough. Generally a nice person, yeah? Nice and fluffy and, But what do we think of a car salesperson? Ooh, shady, pushy, ooh, I don't want to go there, they're going to try to sell something to me, all of this sort of stuff. So when I became an author for the first time, all of a sudden I didn't feel like I was selling. Because I'd stand up with my very first book and I'd say, I'm Natasha Denman, I'm the ultimate weight loss coach, and I guide people through overcoming and losing their last 10 kilos and da-da-da-da. And I'd sit down and then after when we informally network, people would go, oh, show me your book, very interested, tell me a bit more about what you do. And it just became a normal conversation. It didn't become like, oh, come and buy my stuff and I've got this and blah, blah, blah. So I believe authoring takes out that ickiness around selling. And people do see you as an expert, as someone who's disciplined. If you're going to go as far as writing a book, you must be serious about what you're doing, right? And that's how, from $7,000 in my first year of being a coach, that's all I earned, yet I invested $50,000 in experts to learn how to bloody get a business off the ground, to over 6 figures in the following 90 days from the time this book came out, all right? So it changed everything I did. All right, so let's get into the story. Okay, so I know everyone here has an accent, so I was going to say, can you hear my accent? Because in Australia, everyone can hear it and I can't hear it myself. In case you were curious, where am I from? Well, obviously I've flown in from Melbourne and I've lived in Melbourne over the last 26 years. But actually I was born in Macedonia, in the capital city of Skopje. Yes? Okay, I'm going there on Monday because if I'm going to fly all the way to Dubai, I may as well visit for a couple of weeks over there. So I come from Skopje. I was born and raised there till the age of 14. And my mum decided to look for a better life and decided to go to the other side of the world. My grandma always said, couldn't you just go to Germany or something? But no, she went to Melbourne. She had this vision. She wanted to be in Australia. And she left me behind, not in a bad way, but so she can set up a life, right? She didn't want to disturb my schooling. She left when I was 11 and a half. We were separated by 2.5 years. I don't know, those of you who have children, it's pretty tough to be away from your child, for a few nights, let alone, 2.5 years, where there wasn't FaceTime, there wasn't Skype, there was none of that. There was a phone call once every 6 months for 1 minute that would cost about $100 a minute. Very expensive. But that separation, and by the way, also another thing that happened when I was a little girl, 2-year-old, my mum divorced my dad, okay? Now, I don't know, in Australia we call people from the Balkans wogs, okay? And wogs don't divorce. I was the only child that grew up with divorced parents, right? Because they stay together for the children. And so, being a child of a single parent and being left behind for 2.5 years with my auntie and my grandma taught me 2 very key traits. What do you think those were? What are the 2 key traits I learned? Yes? Independence and? Resilience. I'm looking for resilience. Independence and resilience. Because it was those situations that I was thrown in. It's usually your worst things in life teach you the best lessons. Come on, you guys, yeah? So that, but the second thing, there was a key mega learning. And you know how your parents tell you 1,000,001 things and you only really remember 2? Yeah? I'll tell you my mum's biggest profound insight to me. You might want to write this one down. Okay, my mum always told me, every beginning is hard. Okay. And every beginning is hard, she said to me, and I would have to remember that. And she kept drilling into my head. When I came to Australia, every beginning is hard. I wouldn't speak English because I was too scared I would make a mistake. And I would start school. And when I had a child, and very much when I started in business, she kept saying, every beginning is hard. Natasha, just remember, it's hard before it becomes easy. And that's the very same thing I'm going to tell you about writing a book. And I wish Sam as Moustafa, I knew a person like me existed when I wrote my first book, because I'll be telling you my horror stories in my first book as well, in the publishing segment. Because I didn't know like people like me actually existed that would like help you, show you everything, and we're done. You know, and without have to do all the research and do all this sort of stuff. So every beginning is hard is what she said to me. And I have figured out that there's a rule of thumb of that it takes 2 years of focused action, effort, and getting yourself out there to get a tipping point to start reaching a success in a certain whatever focus that you've decided to go into. So when I was in my business, when I was settling into the country, all of this, as long as I focused on what I wanted and kept taking action towards it, there was a good tipping point. And at the 2-year mark, and I noticed with my authors, because now I've been doing this particular brand for 3.5 years, the ones that are skyrocketing and having the exponential growth starts to happen at about 18 months to 2 years of their book coming out. They get instant credibility, instant results, instant clients. Don't get me wrong, there is instant difference in what happens, but when you see them like get a good establishment of what's happening, who they stand for, it's generally at the 18 mark to 2 years. And you'll hear from a couple of authors that have, you know, at that point as well. Okay, so remember that one. Okay, so here is my whole CV. This is all I've done. Do you guys know what a CV is? A CV is like everywhere you've worked. Like, I've only had 3 jobs in my life. This is it. Oh, this is all I've done. I worked in 5 years in a comic book store. And there's a lot of smelly customers in comic book stores. But that was something that I was doing while I was finishing a degree in psychology and psychophysiology. And that was like my cash in hand job. And then I worked in the optical industry for over 12 years. Okay, OPSM is the biggest optical retailer in Australia. And then Specsavers is a UK brand that came onto the scene in Australia, and they poached all of the OPSM staff across, all the people who had experience, to come and work in Specsavers. And so they offered my husband a 3rd share franchise. We actually met at a conference with OPSM, became the couple, like, you know, the golden couple of that company. But with Specsavers, they offered him a 3rd share franchise where he would own a 3rd, Specsavers owns a 3rd, and the optometrist earns a 3rd. And then they poached me because you kind of can't work for our biggest competitors. We need you to come over to the green side here. And you are going to manage the store that's 5 minutes from home. I had my 18-month-old little boy at home, and I go, okay, my husband's got the business running. I'm going to work 3 days a week. I said, I want to work these days. I want this much money. And, you know, I was sweet because I thought I was going to be just a mum who was just going to look after her child and earn some extra money, get out of the house, and my husband would have a salary as well as some profits from the business. Great, we're climbing our our financial freedom ladder, like, you know what I mean? And so when the trajectory of your life changes, what normally happens? What do you think happens? Shit hits the fan. When shit hits the fan, the trajectory of your life changes. So this is the moment of what happened. My husband calls me March 2010 out of my store, from his store, and says, Nat, drop everything that you're doing, come home straight away. And my stomach, and you know that feeling you get in your gut when you know something's completely wrong? I was like, oh my God, you know, what the hell happened? He goes, I can't tell you on the phone, you have to come home. All I can say is Judd is okay, so Judd is our son, but you need to come home. And I thought, oh my God, maybe something with my mum or his dad, or, you know, he seems all right on the phone. So I jumped in the car, and it was the longest 5-minute drive home. I was like, I don't want to find this. So I rang my mum and I said, Boobs, what's happening? You know, she goes, no, Stuart's called me out of work. She goes, I don't know, you have to go and find out. And I said, all right, as long as you're okay, that's fine. So I walk at home through our sliding doors, and there's my husband on the floor, legs crossed, hand in his face, crying. And I said, what's the matter? What happened? He goes, I lost the business. It's gone. So the first moment I had a sense of relief because no one was sick or dead, right? And that's also when the first stage of when shit hits the fan, called denial, okay? And very quickly you go through denial, anger, blame, depression. Ultimately you go into acceptance and resurgence. But me I like to do things very fast. One of my key values is fast. And so we went through those, I went through that and found myself in a counsellor's office to talk about what happened. I'm talking about, and how do you feel? How do you feel? She's asking me all this stuff. 3 sessions in, I go, that's it. I started researching coaching. And for those of you that are coaches in the room, perhaps you can confirm this for me, but usually when you sign up to go and be a coach, it's not to help other people, it's actually to help yourself. Yeah, there's the nods. Okay, perfect. So, I started researching coaching, thinking, oh, well, I've gotten over this. It's been 3 weeks, right? Lucky my husband actually got a job 4 to 6 weeks after the event, managing duty-free Tullamarine. Because it was a time of uncertainty. We had 2 mortgages and I was working 3 days a week. It wasn't covering no expenses. Like, thankfully he covered a salary there and then it was like just making ends meet. But anyway, I researched coaching and I found this top school in Australia, a $15,000 course. And I walked into the 3rd session with my counsellor. I said, that's it, you helped me so much. Now I'm going to go and be a life coach. And she was like, oh my God, this was crazy. I go, see you later, off I go. And I signed up and into the $15,000 course. Thank God I had a payment plan, a 2-year payment plan. And I set up my first brand before I went to my training, okay? So my training was May 2010, so literally this is 2 months from the event. And I read, I reckon, 20 books between March to May. Like Tony Robbins, all of this stuff, personal development. They had a recommended reading list. I read everything they told me. And I was so pumped. And I go, well, they say if I finish this 3-day training, even though it's a 2-year diploma, they say you can go out there and be a coach. You can coach people. I go, I better be ready. I better have this brand set up and business cards and all of that. I didn't wait to learn that you had to niche and all of that. I actually didn't wait to learn that coaching is not the business. Coaching is a tool you use to solve a problem. And so I set up this first brand. I went out there. It was my birthday. Exactly on my birthday, I came out of that 3-day training. Now it's coming up to 7.5 years ago, and I was a coach. And I went out there networking. Thank God I listened to that advice. They said, rule of thumb, go networking twice a week and become a member of a couple of networks that you're going to be like have a membership of, and start to grow your network. And that's what I did. And to this day, 7.5 years later, I am at events twice a week. Can you imagine how many people know of me, or everywhere I walk in, they know me, especially in Australia, of course. But your network is truly your net worth. And so when the first book came out, it wasn't just that I became an author, but I was known in the previous 12 months, because that came out at month 13, which meant that all of a sudden I had the warm relationships and they started asking me, can you speak here? Can you do this? Can you do that? And that's how I monetized it. It wasn't, please don't think just by writing a book immediately, it's like, oh, we're either going to notice you just because you are. You still have to know people who like you, trust you, know you, right? Yeah? So that was the first brand. In the first 12 months, I dated retail business coaching. I was a rock star in retail. I ran stores that were $5 million turnover and all this sort of stuff. I was super organized in the optical industry. And I thought, well, they say, where have you done your 10,000 hours? You know, where is it that you have expertise, right? And I thought, okay, well, it's retail, right? So I better be a retail business coach. Because obviously life coaching, who knows what a life coach is? No one. The general public out there doesn't know what a life coach is. And so cutting edge business was my second brand. A third thing that I decided to do, there's a big learning behind all of this, right? The third thing I decided to do is to invest in one of those internet businesses where you build websites and you send traffic to them and all of that. It's the only scam ever in 7.5 years I was involved in where we paid $15,000 or $17,000 and we did everything they told us, because I'm very big on following instructions, and then there was a money back guarantee. When we applied, that turned out to be a scam, therefore we didn't get our money back guarantee. It's fine. You learn from it, it's fine, because everything else I've invested in, I've turned into diamonds, not gold, diamonds, all right, because I do the work, all right? So, in the first 12 months, there wasn't a lack of ideas, there wasn't a lack of action or zest, or what was there a lack of? Ooh, everyone at once, and I didn't hear anything. Hands up. Focus. That's the word I was looking for. Focus. So write this down. In this world, there isn't a lack of ideas. There is a lack of focus. And this is how and why you will never make the money you want to make if you keep going, jumping from one thing to another. I don't know if you guys know networking much here, but when I'd go to an event, someone would stand up and go, this is what I do, and I love it, and it's so cool, and then they'll say everything they're going to say, and in the last 10 seconds, they're going to do the shotgun approach. Oh, but I also do blah, 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 blah. If you have 5 businesses, doesn't mean you're going to make 5 times the amount of money. But if you have focus, and this is all I focus on, you heard me, 140 times this event has happened, right? And it's just 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, start again, and off we go, right? Because ultimately, this business is not going to, of course, I'll sell it for profit and exit or franchise it out, and all of that sort of stuff is in my future, right? But at the end of the day, I'm reinvesting all of my money to ultimately have choice whether I want to run it or not, right? I've always been very forward thinking is what am I going to do with my life, or what happens if I can't work, right? We have to ultimately know what the exit plan is, right? All right, so my first obstacle, and I'm going to cover off 7 obstacles along this journey of 7 years, was mindset. First, I had to get over myself. By the way, first 12 months, $15,000 coaching course, $6,500 marketing 4-day intensive masterclass, I did $17,000 internet thingy, and my own mentor that cost me $650 a month because they said coaching gets you from A to B the fastest way possible. I said to Stuart, I have to have a coach. I said, I have to learn from someone who's done it before. So thankfully, as I said to you, they all had payment plans. And I was just like scrambling to figure out how to grow a business with low cost or no cost marketing activities. Even up to year 4 in my business, I never tapped into Facebook advertising. For 4 years, my first year to 7 figures was no paid advertising. It was purely from getting out, getting speaking gigs, building a network, making relationships, and that's how it occurred. But at one point, you run out of warm network, right? And that's why we got into paid advertising, to be in front of people who've never heard of us from a bar of soap, right? Second obstacle was credibility. No one knew me from a bar of soap, as I said, yeah? So all I knew was employees, so the other people who used to work with me in the optical industry, they were my network, and my high school friends. That's it. And when you don't know any other people in business, you don't have credibility. Who's going to vouch for you? Like the way Moustafa vouched for me today, right? I've seen her, I know her, I trust her, In a way, in this country, I'm borrowing his trust, being a local here, right? All right, so credibility obstacle number 3 is positioning and message. What the hell? Hi, I'm Natasha Denman, and I'm a life coach, and I help people get over their limiting beliefs and get them from A to B the fastest way possible. That's what every life coach says. That's the first pitch. But as you go out there and you keep refining, but it didn't stand for anything. What problem do I solve? I kept telling my mentor, I hired him 3 months in. So this is May, probably July, I hired him. I was with him, his name was Peter, for 2.5 years. And Peter said, all I want to do is coach, Pete. All I want to do is coach. Because, you got to solve a problem, then you get to coach. And I didn't get it. The penny didn't drop for a little while. The last obstacle was no time. So all of a sudden, I'm still my day job for 13 months. I've got my 18-month-old son. I'm trying to run the PRS coaching brand, the cutting edge business brand, the internet business, plus, running a household and everything that goes with it. And I'm operating in 7 massively consuming things. I completely didn't watch TV for 3.5 years. I was like, TV's a waste of time. I don't have time to do that. I've got to study. I've got to get on webinars. I've got to complete my diploma. I've got to get the marketing out there. You're everything in your business when you start out. You can't outsource anything. You've got no money. But you have time. So in the beginning, you've got an abundance of time and a lack of money. After that, you've got a lack of time and abundance of money. Therefore, you've got to be smart to keep outsourcing, right? So those were my 4 biggest obstacles. So the turning point was when I decided to write the very first book. So 6 months in, December 2010, I have a meeting after a networking event with a printer of all people. Had a printing company. And we sat down for a one-on-one. What do you do? What do I do? and get to know each other, how we can refer to one another. And so he said to me, Stephen said, well, Nat, you know so much about human behavior and mindset. You should write a book. He said, it will be your business card on steroids. And I was like, ooh, I think you're right. You know those moments when the penny drops and you're just ready to hear it? That was my moment. I think you're right, Stephen. I think I will, because he goes, you know, you've got a degree in psychology and psychophysiology, you've got diploma in your coaching and NLP, all of these human behavior kind of things. He goes, write a book. And so this book, guys, is a personal, like, mindset. It's nothing to do with eat this, exercise that. But I chose to do weight loss. Why do you think I chose to do weight loss? Money, many people buy. There's a big pain behind it. Yeah, all of that sort of. It's coming, right? In a minute. All right. So January 2011, I set a 90-day goal. Who sets goals? If you don't, start. Okay? Set a 90-day goal. On the 31st of March 2011, I have written 90 pages in Word. Okay? Who can't write a page a day in 90 days? So I said that to myself so I can minimize the enormity of what seemed like writing a first book, right? Now it's like, oh yeah, it's so easy, right? And so I didn't sit down to write one page a day. I scheduled 2-hour writing sessions in my planner as if they were paying clients. Whether it was flowing or not flowing, I had to sit there at the computer and sit and stare or type away, okay? And 80 days later, I had the 90 pages in Word, and then it was the next step. What do I do now? I've got the content. So I went to Mr. Google. I go self-publishing, right? And then I got sucked into the vortex of the publishing world, which I didn't know very much, and I'll talk about that in the second half of today. But this book was published by one company that I chose to use. I learned a lot through that. Obviously, it had a whole bigger meaning as to why I would be telling this story later on in life, but that doesn't matter. I found people, and I bought a publishing package, and this book came out. So this book is arriving June 2011. Guess what else is being born in addition to this book? Of course, baby number 2, Mika. Mika, you guys, my waters broke in the coaching chair. I'm not kidding you. This is a true story. I'm sitting here, my client's there, and I move, and I'm like 38, the due date was the next day. And I moved, and I could feel the water, and I go, oh my God. I said, Lalita was her name. I said, Lalita, my water's broke. And she goes, oh my God, I had a dream this is going to happen. Call my husband upstairs. I had this office under the house. It was a perfect consulting room. And she rings Stuart upstairs, and she goes, Stuart, she gave me the phone. I said, Dal, bring me a towel. I think my water's broke. He brings me the towel, like this, like, you know, just do it really quickly, because if you stand up, there goes the flood, right? And he goes, go away now, we've got half an hour to go. You know? And I attempted to continue coaching, and she said, and I said, I don't think I can concentrate. And I go, let's call the hospital. Let's call the hospital. So I called her. Mika came out 4 hours later. It was like boom, 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 it all happened. But then why am I telling you this story? Because when this book came out, the government in Australia gives new parents, when you have a baby, 5 months or 18 weeks paid parental leave. And that was just enough to cover our expenses with Stuart's salary. Otherwise, if I didn't make the business work, I had to go back to the day job. You know, ideally you should have a year off with your baby, right? No, this didn't happen. Like literally, I was breastfeeding between coaching sessions and networking events and going out there, because this book ended up creating the momentum and the interest. And I go, I have no time to waste. I've got to get out there. Now it's the time. You know, things are happening. People are noticing me. I need to figure out how I'm going to do it. And so I did everything, because I've breastfed all my 3 children till they were 1. There was a big goal I had, and I achieved that goal, and I did it with everything. Like last 2 babies, I didn't have any time off. I literally just did it all, you know. I don't even know how. Now I'll go, how the hell did I do this? But I did it. Because if there's a big enough why, you're going to do it. And you're going to get organized, and you're going to express, and you're going to freeze, and you're going to figure everything out. Sorry for the men in the room, but the ladies will understand what I mean, right? So, book comes out. I look at my face, I open the boxes, and I go, oh my God, that's me. I'm so proud of myself. Not many people do this. And that was it. I thought I was eating a bit. I was like walking around taller, get up there. I was like, all of a sudden, this was my license for confidence. Literally from someone who thought, I don't know if I'm a good coach and I don't know if I can help people. I'm like going out there super confident, right? And all of a sudden people, I want to have what she's having, right? And they start buying into what I do. Second big turning point was the rebranding. So remember PRS coaching was still on the first print run of the book. I sit down with Peter, my mentor, and Stuart. Stuart started coming to our coaching sessions. And Pete looks at the book. He goes, congratulations, Nat. You said you were going to do it and you did it. Not many people do this. I go, I agree, Pete. So he goes, yeah, but what does this PRS coaching anyway stand for? Who do you help? And I said, but Pete, they say don't change your brand. He goes, I go, because, you know, people know you understand. He goes, how long have you been around for? I said, 13 months. That felt like 13 years to me because how much action I took in every one of those 13 months was massive. Like to me, it was like a lifetime. He goes, come on, Nat, don't be too precious on anything. Change it. If it's not working, change it. And I said, all right, he's asking me to rebrand. I said, so you've written a book on weight loss? And I said, okay, well, they say the problem I'm solving is weight loss, right? I said, ultimate is a hypnotic word. So I said, why don't we be ultimate weight loss? He said, yeah, that sounds all right. But weight loss is a big highway. What's your lane in it? I go, oh, everyone's weight loss, right? Because you've been telling all these people you've been attracting pro bono and they're asking you to be their coach. They're kind of telling you to work on health and wellness, but they're also telling you they want to lose, all of them are kind of saying, I want to lose 10 kilos, 10 kilos, 10 kilos. So there was this kind of almost they were giving me the answer. Because why don't we make you the lose the last 10 kilos girl, right? Lose the last 10 kilos girl. And I said, all right, Pete, I always trust my mentors. They tell me to do something, you go and do it. Because if I don't have the results they do, I'm not going to go back against them. And this is what I say to all my clients. If you're not coachable, please don't come into my program. Because if you're not coachable, you're not going to get the results, you're going to change the rules, and you're just going to waste your money, right? So we became the lose the last 10 kilos, and you know why that worked for me? Because I actually, after the fact, realized I had the story. Oh my God, I had no idea. So now I know how I intuitively choose my topics and the solutions I provide. But I found these 2 photos where I was 10 kilos. I've never been seriously overweight, but I went on a journey of losing 10 kilos, following these couple of books that came out in Australia, and then obviously was able to maintain my ideal body weight after 3 children. And this is the key niching question. So you might want to write this one and I'll explain it. All right, this is your key topic selection question. What do other people see in me? Do other people see in me that they want for themselves? Want for themselves. What do other people see in me that they want for themselves? And so the reason I was attracting people, I want to lose 10 kilos, 10 kilos, 10, because I had somewhere in my past solved this problem, and then they were seeing that I would have that solution. So people instinctively, on a gut level, can tell if we have achieved a certain result. So you know how there's a lot of fake advertising out there? In Australia, a lot of coaches advertise themselves, I'm going to make you a 6-figure, 7-figure coach and all this sort of stuff. And if you actually talk to the person, they actually have no idea, and they have not got a cent in the bank themselves. Yet they're saying, I can coach you to 6 or 7 figures. So it's totally inauthentic. So the number 2 thing that I look for when I qualify people into my program is integrity. Have you got the result that you're going to be writing about, with integrity? Because otherwise other people are going to smell it a mile away. Even if you write a book, Become a Millionaire, You're Not One, and you come across super confident, they know when there's authenticity and when there isn't. Please do not write about something that you have not solved for yourself. Okay, and you will see why every one of these topics, it seems so different from one another, But it was because the books that you ultimately write are not books for other people. You know who the books are for? Your past version of you. Right? So your target market is actually you 5, 10 years ago, or whatever it was. So it's so easy to write when you're giving your past self the advice. Yeah? So the books that you write are the past self. So listen to how this unfolds. A few months after the weight loss book came out, I had written this program with CDs and all that sort of stuff. And people are starting, health and wellness practitioners are starting to come to me and go, Nat, how did you write this book? How did you create this program? You know, help us do that. And I go, oh, I think I'm business coaching, right? Now I've got a 6-figure health and wellness coaching practice. Okay, I've got integrity. I've achieved the result. Now I can coach people. And I went to Peter, my mentor, said, Pete, I think I want to be a business coach. I said, I don't want to do the weight loss stuff anymore. He goes, yeah, but Nat, business coaching is a big highway. What's your lane in it? Oh my God. I go, what lane? I said, here we go with this lane thing. It was killing me. And I'm going, no, it's small businesses, it's startups. So I was still being very fluffy, too high level. And so for 10 months, I was teaching stuff about product development without realizing it was product development because I was still not in tune to answering that question. And so one night I'm falling asleep and the tagline, create products for profit, came to me and I go, oh my God, it's product development. Pete, it's create products for profit. He goes, yes, you've got it. You can niche it now, and he let me brand Ultimate Business Coach, create products for profit. So the next obstacle was one-on-one work. Remember we said it was very tiring, it's very limited in income earning potential, and I was like coaching, there was not lack of clients or, you know, income and all that sort of stuff, but like the time, it was just really, really exhausting. So answering this same question, what do other people see in me that they want for themselves? I started noticing other people saying, well, Nat, what if we don't want to create our own products? It seems a bit hard. Can't we just become an ultimate weight loss coach? Can't we, you know, become a lot, like, in a way, I thought that sounded like franchising, right? And I said, Pete, so my mentor, I said, Peter, I said, tell me about franchising. What's franchising? How do you do it? He goes, well, Nat, franchising is a little bit expensive to set up legally. It's about 6 figures to get all the agreements in place. Because you might want to license your intellectual property first. That's a few $1,000s. And then you can, if it goes well, you can franchise. And I said, all right, how do I do that? All right. So he goes, you need to obviously set the criteria. So what are people going to get from you? What kind of manuals, what kind of training, what kind of support, all of that. And I nowadays call this the table of value, okay? So this is called a table of value. It starts off as crappy as this. Sometimes when I'm showing you some of these things that are not looking for super flash, it's because exactly how they started out. And the only prettier thing that I did with this is put it in a spreadsheet. I didn't even do a pretty form like you guys are going to get a pretty blue form today and all that sort of stuff. No, this is how it started out. So there's 3 levels of entry, silver, gold, platinum. You know, you give them training, support, books, manuals, whatever, one-on-one if you're going to do it. This is your investment, this is your savings, this is the value and a payment plan, right? So that's called a table of value. So the only 2 things I did to launch my licensing, I created a table of value and plus I chose a date, okay? So a date. If you flick back to this slide, what you see on this slide is what the product, the intellectual property was, but this didn't exist. This is the after picture. All I did is a piece of paper, one piece of paper, and a date, which was, 1st of December 2012. And I went back out networking and I went to those people, so you want to be an ultimate weight loss coach? We're going to have our first intake training of Ultimate Weight Loss Coaches on the 1st of December 2012. And this is what it looks like in a prettier version of this. And would you like to join us? Well, this is the deposit and all that sort of stuff. So when the first person said, yeah, I'm in, I went, shit, I need a lawyer, I need a licensing agreement, I need to create some manuals, I need to get all this stuff together, and I've got 6 weeks to pull it together. Okay? So my lesson right here is sell it. sell it is number one, step one. Number two is build it. Okay? Sell it, then build it. Do not create anything before you've sold it. Get other people to fund the process. How was I going to find $5,000 to pay the? I mean, I didn't have it. I was making money at the time, but you know, it was a big chunk to just pay out. You know, I wanted to get someone else to create. So this is the number one trick that I execute with my authors as to how I achieve over 90% completion rate. Number one trick, I trick people into following through in two ways. All right, because people cannot be trusted. Okay. I get my authors to create a mock-up cover. Well, I created for them, not them. A mock-up cover is a 3D image of your book without it actually existing, just like you see the weight loss book there. And on the Friday night of retreat, they announced to their network that this book will be out in the next 3 to 4 months. And they have a PayPal button set up already that's going to accept the payments for the pre-sales of the book. Which means, let's say your book is going to sell $30 when it comes out, it sells $20 until it's in pre-release mode. So when we tell you, we give you all the script and copy of what you need to do to announce it to your network, and what do you think happens when the money starts hitting the account? And everyone's different. Everyone's got different size networks. Some people will sell more books, some people will sell less books, but everyone sells at least a handful of books, at least over the first 48 hours. What do you think happens? Yes, that too, but also, this, my friends, is the cure to procrastination. Write it down. The cure to procrastination is make a commitment to someone else. And you see if you're going to fail. Because when I made a commitment to these guys who are paying me for my licensing, I had to get the manuals. There was no excuses, no procrastination. You've got to follow through. People have put their trust in you. And if you don't, guess what? You're going to feel like crap because you've lied to them. You lose credibility, all of that. So that's what I did, and I launched it, and this is what got my husband to quit his day job 5 years ago at Christmas. And not only did we do it once, we did it twice with Ultimate Business Edge, because like, oh, if I can do this once. Not everyone wanted to be a weight loss coach. What about those who wanted to be product development coaches? Awesome. If I can do it once, I'll just rejig stuff in the agreement, put it for Ultimate Business Edge, and sold another. So I sold 33 in Australia of the weight loss, 8 of Ultimate Business Edge, and one in the US as well. And it was awesome. I thought I was going to be doing this forever. Wow, you know, finally we found the one-to-many model, and it's fantastic. But then, the next obstacle was results. All right, so let me talk about results. So in this world of seminars and people going and doing high-end programs to solve a problem and achieve a result and a return on investment, what do you reckon is the success rate, the percentage of success rate of people actually going, getting the information, and getting out there and getting a result? 10? Less? It's single digits?
5.
Less?
3.
3. Only 3% of people having invested in $5, $10, $15, $20,000 programs ever follow through to get a return on investment. And what was starting to happen to me when people bought into my licensing, what the mistake I made is I didn't price it high enough. What happens when we don't price ourselves high enough? Correct? Who's done pro bono work before? Most of us, right? Pro bono work. What happens when you do pro bono work? Do they do the work? No. This is a beautiful saying I heard from another mentor. People who don't pay, they don't pay attention. People who pay little, they pay little attention. People who pay a lot, they pay a lot of attention. Okay? So, results is what was lacking in this particular offering, because people would be so excited, they'd come on board, I'd provide all the mentoring and all that support, and then after 3 or 4 months, because they wouldn't have that staying power the way I did to grow my business, they'd put all the IP up on the shelf help. Yeah? Shelf help, okay, this is not working, it wasn't the magic bullet, da-da-da-da. And to me, that wasn't fulfilling. Because to be truly happy in life, we need 3 things, okay? This is it. This is your triangle of happiness, okay? The triangle of happiness. You need income, okay? Lifestyle. And contribution. Okay, so let me explain. With licensing, I achieved income. I started getting my lifestyle because I didn't have to work with people one-on-one. But this was missing because the ripple from me was not spreading further out to helping more people lose weight, to create that, impact like the way my authors are right now. So because that was a missing link, I wasn't feeling good about it. So when I introduced Ultimate 48 Hours into the market, I needed to figure out how do I beat this 3% follow-through rate? How do I trick people into becoming successful? So I decided I would source everyone that had to be involved, and by God, it had to become a high-end program. Because the 50% of what I'm going to show you right now is the suppliers that we would have to engage in the process to make this happen. And that's why, by doing that, we achieved more than 90% completion rate. And that's pretty massive. It's like unheard of in my industry. So right now, I'm going to reveal to you what our retreats investment is and what we're talking about today, because I'm actually not one of those really salesy, pitchy people who wait till the end, I'll tell you this and I'll tell you that. I just like to be really upfront and authentic and honest, and there's no hiding of anything. All right, so I'm not going to talk about it long, I'm just going to give you what it looks like. All right, so the Ultimate 48-Hour program comes in two different options. So there's the Done For You Retreat option, which is pretty much 99% of people who we work with do that option, because that's where they get the result. The do-it-yourself online option is also there. We call it the online author portal. So we've got a few different levels here, so I'm just going to explain what they mean. The $20,000 and $3,500 are our everyday prices. So you come back to us in 6 or 12 months' time, that is the investment into those. And of course, we do payment plans, and I'll talk about those later today. At the green line is our one-time offer workshop 48-hour special. So what does that mean? Is upon qualifying from the event after we've given you the green light, as long as you have paid your deposit into the program within the next 48 hours, so we don't force you to make an instant decision. So as long as you've paid that, you can have the program at $15,000 for the retreat and at $2,000 at the online program. And if you want to pay up front, it's $14,000. You get $1,000 off, and you get 500 copies of your initial book. So something to understand, at the $15,000 level, 50% is not our money. It's actually money that we need to pay out all of the suppliers at wholesale level. Like we've secured wholesale prices that are 20-30% cheaper than you walking in buying things separately. Does that make sense? Yeah? So everyone is involved, and there's accommodation, meals, everything. Like you'll get a sheet that explains it all. I just wanted to touch base and show you what it is so that we can keep going. All right? Cool. So now let me teach you how to write a book in 48 hours. All right. So Ninja Couch Marketing. Ninja Couch Marketing was a book that I decided to write with a friend of mine, Donna Brown. And she was known as the Work in Your PJs girl. And we wanted to come under one brand because we kept doing workshops and we had two brands. It was kind of weird, and we said, let's invent one that will be just for us two. And so Ninja Business Chicks was the brand, and we said, what a better way to launch a brand than to write a book for it? And she said, all right, Nat, let's do it. I said, yeah, but we're both kind of busy in our businesses, like lots of clients, lots of like contact work. I said, I don't want to do it in my everyday life. Why don't we go away on a weekend? We'll get Stuart to hire us a cabin somewhere nice, authory, and you write 6 chapters, I write 6. Maybe we can do a bonus chapter in this book. So we had a social media guru, because this is all about marketing your business from the couch. And we had a social media guru called Daniel, who was at my networking group, and I said, Daniel, do you mind me interviewing you, and then you can be part of chapter 13 in this book? So no, that's cool. So one day after our meeting, we sat down and I started to interview him with my 20 questions. And as I started to interview him, I'll go, I can't write fast enough, like she's talking, and there's lots of cool stuff he's saying, but I can't capture it all. I said, do you mind, I've seen people record other interviews on the phone, right? Do you mind me recording you, and then I'll listen to it at home and I'll type it all up? And he said, all right, Nat, yes, that's cool. So I did. 20 minutes later, we're done. I go home, that's awesome. And I sit down, and I'm going to type it all up, right, before we go away on the weekend. And I'm like, this is a bit boring. I've already been to this interview. I don't want to like sit here for hours trying to write what he was saying. And I said, you know what? I've heard of these people called transcriptionists. And I went on a website called upwork.com, and I found a transcriptionist. And I paid him $20 for 20 minutes of transcription. And he came back to me a couple of days later and I go, oh my God, this is so cool. He laid it out, Ninja Business Chicks, Daniel Madden, Ninja Business Chicks, Daniel Madden. And I was like, this sounds exactly like him. I couldn't have said it better myself. I spent half an hour tidying it up, just tightening up the sentences. It was very free-flowing. Something that you should know, spoken work can be read twice as fast. Can you believe it? Like this book can be read in 3 hours versus a normally written book, like type book, 7 hours, just so you know. And so he said, oh my God. I said, this is cool. So I tidied it up, cut and paste. And then I'm sitting down with Donna and I said, this is now our weekend. So I had a run sheet, very organised. I said, okay, Donna, so we're going to type for 90 minutes and we're going to have a 15-minute break. Then we're going to type for another 90 minutes and then we're going to have another break. And we're going to type and as I'm telling her this, I'm like, oh, hang on. Why are we typing? I said, if Daniel's interview was this many minutes and give us this many words, then we literally need to speak for 17 to 20 minutes per chapter. And we're going to have a 40 to 45,000 word book. I said, we speak about this stuff all the time. I said, but we're not going to go and talk about it off the top of our heads. We're actually going to unpack every chapter on a page, A4 piece of paper. And we're going to unpack it properly so we know what our stories are, our examples are, and all that sort of stuff. And then we're going to obviously be able to verbalize it. And she said, yeah, Nat, I'm all for doing things lazy. Let's go. Let's do it. So I got my 6 pages prepared. She got her 6 pages prepared. We went to that cabin that Stuart hired for us January that year, 2013. And guess how long it took us to write this book? No, a lot less. Do the maths. 17 to 20 minutes per chapter over 6 chapters because we're writing half a book each. 3 hours, you guys. Let's say we took a breath, take a drink of water and all that. 3 hours. The rest of the time we had a girls' weekend away. We got massage, everything. 72 days later, that book came out. And a few months later after that, Donna's doing these working your PJs days, one-to-many. And I thought, oh, that's really cool, one-to-many, because I was sort of like, I stopped being passionate about promoting the licensing. But if Donna stands for working in your PJs, what the hell do I stand for? And I thought, well, the idea of how to execute the book was mine. I guided the whole process, I managed everything, and I said, maybe, if I could write half a book in 3 hours in a weekend, I said, I could definitely get someone to write a whole book. I need to give them 7 speaking hours. So in 6 would be their 12 chapters, so an hour per 2 chapters, and then the 7th one, they can do their introduction and their afterword. And I said, so I'm going to launch it. So I did what I did for the licensing. But this time I went to all the suppliers and said, how much for this, how much for bulk? If I bring you transcription, 10 books every quarter, if I bring you 10 books to publish, what's the best price you can do for me? Yeah? So because I needed to pull together a table of value that was going to be correctly priced, I couldn't, like this was going to be expensive for me to offer, but it needed to deliver everything. So I did the table of value and I decided to launch a retreat in October 2013, so I picked my date. Okay? And I went back out and I said to people, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing the first Ultimate 48 Hours retreat. The first retreat was in a luxury home at the Mornington Peninsula, which is just an hour from Melbourne. And we literally used to go the first 5 or 6 retreats in luxury homes. My husband would cook for 48 hours for all the participants. We would have 10. You can imagine trying to cook for 12 people. My husband's an amazing cook. And we treated everyone like family. It was just like a big brother house, but not quite like that. It was like a family, right? And we went, that was the first house. And these guys were our first people because everyone said, have you done this before? And I go, yeah, well, I've done it on the Ninja group. So these first guys, the picture up here, they were my people who already liked me, trusted me, and knew me. People that I was business coaching and mentoring, people that I had taken on, known for a long time and all that. So they trusted me and said, oh, we're going to do this and that. And once these guys came out, the first 10 books, it was like everyone was like, oh, of course this works. You know, we're interested. When is your next retreat? When is your next retreat? Or whatever. And I started signing up the people. And the first 3 or 4 retreats were really easy. Like everyone who I knew that wanted to write a book, wrote a book with me. But my next and final obstacle to this story is that the sales pipeline was drying up, right? There's only so much warm network you can have. So about 3 years ago, we invested in a Facebook advertising management guy. And we spent a lot of money to find the sweet spot of filling events and seminars such as this, so I could travel everywhere around Australia and now the world, to obviously meet my potential aspiring authors and then help them, because I'd love to, my dream was to be well booked out 2 or 3 retreats in advance. Now I'm actually well booked out a whole year in advance, which is an awesome problem to have, right? And we solved that problem, which is ultimately every stage of this journey depends on where you're at in your life. There is either low cost or free strategies of how to leverage your book, but there's also the way we teach people who are more advanced that can have some cash to reinvest in advertising to tap into some of this so that it happens and rolls across a lot faster. Yeah? So myself personally, I've written 3 books standalone. So I wrote the weight loss book, the Ultimate 48-Hour Author, and the 1,000 Days to $1 Million Coaching Business from Home. All of the books are here. I've co-authored 3 books, so Bums on Seats and Ninja, and then obviously that's my family, that's my husband and our 3 kids. This is a picture from 2 years ago because the baby's now almost 3. And then I've done 2 collaborator books, and I'm going to talk about collaboration books in the publishing segment and which ones to do and say yes to and which ones not to, okay? And we launched in the US in May, and we had a retreat in Vegas, and of course now we're launching here for you guys. And we love living our ultimate life. We take 4 months off a year. In Australia, the school holidays, the summer holidays are December and January, so there's 2 months off there. And we're literally going to come back in Dubai to host a retreat at the end of January when we're all back into business mode. We take 6 months off in the winter because we like to run away from the cold and come somewhere warm around May and June. We work hard, we play hard though. But 4 months out of the year, we are actually chilling out, and because at the level that I operate in, I need to recharge myself. This is why I'm going to Macedonia on Monday for 2 weeks, because these five days are going to obviously fry me at the end of the day. So you got to look after yourself. Someone was talking to me, I think earlier today, like, you know, you look so good. I exercise 4 times a week. I look after what I eat. There's no way you can. My chiropractor said you're an athlete. You actually operate in an athlete's level, and you need to be taking this and that supplement, doing this exercise to be able to serve as many people as possible. Agree? So that's my family. So that's my mum, in case you guys want to know. And I love, and I love that's the field we want to provide people. So what did you learn? What did you notice? What do you want to share before we move on to the next segment? I didn't tell you the story to talk about myself. I told you to learn a lot of stuff. And some of the stuff I write down is the things that I really want a penny to drop for you today. Was there a hand up? I'll just grab a drink of water. Yeah.
There is a will, there is a way.
If there's a will, there is a way. Yes, absolutely. And I'm telling you things that worked. I'm going to tell you the 99% of things that didn't work. Yes, sir.
You have laid down your journey perfectly. The whole process.
Can you see how it's evolved, how it shifted and changed though? That I didn't keep sticking to one thing and flogging a dead horse, as they say. I don't know if that's a saying here, but sometimes I'll say sayings and I don't know if they're appropriate. Yes? Invest in mentoring, invest in the shortcuts, because as I said, and Moustafa said it, you know, if I knew someone like me existed, I would have invested. But I always did invest anyway. I think I'm at about $150,000 in seminars and courses and solving problems that I don't know how to solve myself. Yeah? Yeah. One more. Yes?
You've got to have the confidence in yourself.
Absolutely, but first time, you reckon I was like this when I stood up on stage? I was like sweating, my voice was quivering like this. And every time I stood up, it became easier and easier and easier and easier. And it just like, it just becomes like your second home. The stage becomes your second home, and the confidence doesn't come just because I was born with it. No, it comes because you just keep taking the actions to, I would have never earned the right to be on this stage had I not done the previous 5 or 6 years of work. Yeah, yeah, yes.
How do you know how to find the right mentor for you?
A good question. How do you know how to find the right mentor for you was the question. I have come from the belief of that when the student's ready, the teacher turns up. I have never looked for my mentors. I seriously have not. Somehow we've sat down for a coffee and I've realized, oh my God, you know something I don't. Do you mentor or coach me? And then never once have I gone, I'm going to interview you, you, and then I'm going to choose who's going to be my mentor. No. I've always gone on gut. Other people have a different system and a different method. That's been mine. It's just like I was interviewing this guy earlier this year from the US, Russ Ruffino. He does clients on demand. He teaches the art of high ticket selling. And I interviewed him on my monthly, I do this Monday morning UBS Live, I call it. Half an hour thing. I get on live and I talk to people and sometimes interview people. And after I interviewed him, I go, oh my God, I want to do your program. So I signed up literally a week later doing his $12,000 program on how to convert. So this is my next level now. So to remove the half-day event seminar equation, because this is very exhausting, tiring, you've got to travel a lot. Now we have got an automated funnel from Facebook ad to evergreen webinar that runs every hour on the hour, that then will invite someone to have a breakthrough session, which is where we talk about their book and all that and see if they would qualify for the process and take them, just work out if they'd want to join us, and then they come into retreat. So the comment was? Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm doing that right now. So the comment was how fast I bounce back. Okay, so how fast did I bounce back and how do I do that? One of my values is, I've got 4 F words for you guys. 4 F words. This is serious. You'll see them even later in the PowerPoint. Fast, fun, fame, and family are my 4 F words. That's my values. That's how I want to experience life, and that's the service and the level of delivery and the flavor that I give back to my clients, right? Fast, fun, my family. And the fact that fast is one of my things, I don't want to waste time. I don't want to muck around. I want to get to something that's going to work. And as people said, I guess it was my first mentor's comment, don't be too precious on anything. If it's not working, move on. Get on to the next thing. But that's, again, I didn't just tell you all the, 9 out of 10 things in marketing will not work. So until I discovered my top 3, I had to try 30 things. Yeah? So I just had to keep doing it because, every morning I wake up, I think I'm going to lose everything. Yeah, every morning I wake up, I go, oh my God, who's going to feed my family? I'm the only person on the face of the business. I'm going to get out there and do it. Because to me, that's how it was created. Out of the situation 7.5 years ago, that's not it. My husband and I, by the way, are like super solid, like the ultimate Denman team. Like everyone loves us, and everyone loves working with us together. If he could have been here today, he would have been, and next time he will be here. But, there was a moment there in the first couple of years after losing that business that I felt I couldn't trust him, right? Because he made a poor decision I wasn't aware of, and we had to go through our own relationship coaching stage and working on ourselves and him growing, because couples who grow together stay together. If we didn't, we would have probably not been together today. But we've gone through all of that and we're just rock solid, and he is literally more obsessed about this business now than I am. He's like, every year he's stepping up more and more and more, and he goes, I feel like I'm missing out, I'm not there, and all that sort of stuff. So it's very important to have a supportive family as well along this process. But I suggest if you are going to tell people excitedly that you're writing your book, don't be surprised if some people are going to try to shut you down, because people like to be dream stealers, because they have given up on their dream and therefore they want to steal yours. So perhaps just keep it to yourself for a little bit in the beginning, okay? Let's keep going. Yes, last comment.
Sorry, I'm just curious. You have 3 children.
Yes.
Work really hard.
Yes.
How do you balance that?
I told you we have 4 months off a year.
But there's day-to-day stuff that...
My husband manages everything around that. He does the school drop-offs and pickups, and he makes dinner, and I go and do all the other stuff. And of course, I do stuff on the weekends. We do it together. But if it's Monday to Thursday, that's the routine. There's a structure and routine. And yes, we have maybe in some level some reversed, a reversed role for most people of what they feel comfortable with in terms of what it is. But if it works for us, well, you know, it's none of anyone's business really what happens. So we love it. And he is fully masculine. Like if you meet him, oh, well, actually I'll play you a little video of him at the very end. He'll introduce himself just so you can put a voice and a face to the, you know, to the person I've been speaking about all day. But yeah, we're just, it's clockwork. Everything runs like clockwork. And by the way, if you want to find out, read our Guilt-Free Parents book. Yeah? Yes. And talks about, there's a his and a hers section in there. So I wrote a section, then he wrote a section, then the Secret Men's Only Business section. And every chapter, we didn't read each other's sections. We didn't want to be influenced by what he was going to say and what I was going to say in that book. So it literally went to print without reading each other's stuff. So it's really, really raw and authentic. All right, you guys, we're going to keep going. I know we're going to run over 10 minutes because I need half an hour for the book unpack. But I'm going to go quickly through what book positioning is, and then we're going to get a person here on the stage, and we're going to unpack their book for this so you can see how this happens, so you can do it for yourself as well. All right, so book positioning is not about being everything to everyone. You need to be targeting a specific audience for a specific problem, and obviously having that magic bullet hook that actually sells to the ego. Okay, I'm going to talk about ego, and I'm going to talk about wants and needs in a minute. Stay with me. But first of all, I'm going to give you an example of one of our very first retreat attendees, Despina Karatsias. So Desi was a life coach for 2 years when I first met her. And like me, she was trying to flog life coaching, and she was going nowhere. And she was like you guys in a seminar. She was at a networking group that I was running, and I needed a volunteer to unpack their program. And so she said, I'll do it. And I said, okay, well, tell me a bit about you. And she told me about her life coaching, blah, 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 blah. And I said, so tell me, what have you done in the last 5-10 years? Where do you have a network and all that? Well, Nat, she says, I have been running pretty much this business called Global Ballooning. It's a hot air balloon company in the city of Melbourne. And for the last 10 years, I've been just basically like in charge of it. Like there's an owner, but he hardly comes. And she goes, and I've got a huge network in the tourism and adventure sport businesses. I said, oh, cool. I said, so have you thought about writing a program on how tourism and adventure sport businesses can grow? And she said, oh, I never thought about that. And I said, well, that's where your network is. That's where you can deliver a program and get out of, you know, your day job. And she said, all right, let's do it. So I unpacked a program for her, and 2 or 3 months later, after she had that experience, she said, I want to work with you as a coach. So she signed up to be a 12-month business mentoring client of mine. And 3 or 4 months after we rebranded her as Your Tourism Excellence. So her initial business was Institute of Excellence. And I said to her, Desi, what the hell does Institute of Excellence stand for? What problem do you solve? Oh, but Nat. And I said, no, it's too fluffy. Get rid of it. I said, let's go Your Tourism Excellence. All right, so I announced that I'm doing retreat. She goes, I'm coming to retreat too. So not only she has invested 12 months to work with me, now she's going to come to retreat. So are you sure? She goes, yeah. I'm going to do everything you've done so I can get the results you've got. And I said, all right, Desi, let's go. So we unpacked this book. She wrote Adventures of a Balloon Girl. It's not a Wizard of Oz type of book. I know it can seem like that, but this is about a whole journey of what she did to grow this, you know, adventure style business. So when the book came out, 6 months later, she did quit her day job and she became a consultant in this industry, and she completely bypassed one-on-one. She does one-to-many all of the time. People actually fill events like this, and she does delivery of trainings, and she's further found her lane in social media for these businesses. So initially she started out as a more general consultant in the tourism and adventure sport businesses, and then her lane refined down to social media expert for these types of businesses. So in a second, I'm going to show you a little video. As I said to you, this has been 3.5 years. I mean, some of these books, if you come and check them out, they might look a little bit crappy because I always have to pack them in suitcases, in and out. And so, excuse if, they kind of look a bit worn. But Desi recorded me a video in June. And I said, Daisy, I have a lot of videos of success and all that, but I really want a video where someone's been doing this now. They're an author out in the field for 3.5 years, and you're one of my first ones. So can you do me a video so you can show me what has happened? So here she is.
My name is Despina Karatias. I authored my very first book, Adventures of a Balloon Girl, at the very first 48-hour author weekend. And that was in October 2013.
About 15 minutes left.
This book went on to go to 75 retailers around the country. It got picked up by Target in Victoria and New Zealand, Target stores. And this, you can see here, I'm sharing a photo on my Instagram, 26th of June, which was last week, just last Monday, 26th of June 2017. So 3.5 years later, my book is still sitting on the shelves, and check it in the top shelf, mind you. It's not in the bargain bin. It's still sitting on the top shelf there, right next to like Khloe Kardashian and Dane Swan, and it's incredible. I still get such a buzz from doing that. Actually putting this together, it gave me confidence to take that leap, because actually documenting what I have done and reflecting, it was like, you know what? I've got this. I've produced about 16 different workshops. I've delivered over 500 hours of training. I'm now hired by regional tourism organisations and local councils, and running my own online training programs. I have a tourism podcast that I interview and share, just again a different form of content, and it's something that and a website, and I'm so proud that I have something that has left a legacy that was a really significant part of my life.
Cool. Awesome. Pretty good, huh? Who wants some of that? Yeah? Good. Awesome. So let's play. All right. So who is going to want to get their book unpacked? All right. Mr. Mohanand. All right. Come on up. Bring your chair. Bring your chair, because you'll be here for about 25 minutes. Let's get this off. Hang on. Perfect. All right. Voila. Oh, here you are. Here we go, girls. All right. So, guys, this is Mohanand. Can you actually stand up for a second?
Sure.
Hello? Oh, here we go. All right. Just want to test. So can you please just watch, let's get an introduction happening, and then I'll tell you what's going to happen. So can you please introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and yeah.
Good morning or good afternoon. My name is Mohanand. I work in real estate. Basically, I manage a property management company in Dubai, originally from Australia. And I also certify property managers at the Dubai Land Department since 2009. So I certify real estate professionals. I'm also on a TV show called Memoir, a reality real estate show. We have a radio version of it as well. So I'm a real estate.
Real estate. Okay, so the niche is real estate.
Yes.
Who's the target market?
For the first book, the target audience would be my students, the people I actually certify at the Dubai Land Department. I've been doing this since 2009, and I actually built a very big manual for the course, a certification course. And I've been asked to travel all over the Middle East to actually certify real estate professionals, especially after the TV show was doing very well. So I thought, why not put it in a book instead of me traveling, because I'm getting overbooked now, so it would be easier for me to maybe just publish a book.
Okay, and is this the book we're going to be unpacking, or so what?
I would like to have a book every year, but this is
every
the
book.
Yes.
So these are the people that you're training.
Correct.
They were becoming property managers.
Property managers.
Property managers. Okay. And what are their biggest pains and frustrations?
Basically, you will find a lot of brokers, but you will find very few property managers, and it's a very big challenge for them to actually make that step to move from being a broker into a professional property manager, where you help people or portfolios maximize their wealth through real estate.
Okay, so property managers here, I'm just trying to clarify what they are here, because in Australia, property managers are people who have like houses and stuff that they rent out, and then they manage it.
We manage the entire process. So basically, I'll tell you what I do. I actually manage portfolios worth billions of dirhams for corporate clients.
Sure.
They own buildings, they own portfolios, so I either help people establish these portfolios or manage their existing portfolios. It could be
so the definition of a property manager is not just, hey, I'm a real estate person managing your property. It's actually you're buying. So you actually, it's like a property advisor and investment advisor. Okay, I just needed to be clear. Nice. Okay. Are we all clear on what it is? Yeah? So it's really like the desire of these people who become the property managers is to become you, ultimately. Yeah, to have some version of you or in their own flavour, and to do it successfully, because their want is obviously ultimately, yes, they're helping lots of people, but they're also making a significant financial return, you know, and running a successful business.
Correct.
Got it? Okay, perfect. So this is actually a really good book when it comes to ego. Okay, so have a seat, Mohammed. Okay, so this is the template that I'm going to send you a better version of when you come back. But we tend to teach people to unpack 12 chapter books. Now, 12 chapters is not set in stone. You can do 15, you can do 20, 50, you can do 7. But why 12? Can anyone guess why 12? 12 months in the year, yeah. It leverages to a 12-step online program, 12-week program, 12 months, 12 keynotes. You can actually break the book up into parts. You can do 4 parts, which are 3 chapters each. You can do 2 parts, 6 chapters each. It's just a really nice chunk to work with when you further develop other programs and products behind the book. Because the book is the starting point, you guys. It's not the be-all and end-all, and you know, you're going to start to think of more and more stuff you want to do with it than just the content itself. Even some of you may have come, I just want to write my own story and all that, but your story has lessons and learnings that, if organized neatly, will become shortcuts for other people to follow. Does that make sense? Yes, good. All right, so this side here is the need side, the broad side. So we're going to put all the boring stuff there. So probably all the legals, financials, all of that stuff. But then here, we've got the sexy side. And the sexy side is when we turn something that, this is what clients need to know, but this is what they want. The ego wants magic bullet. The ego wants more money. They want more time, more freedom. They want it simple, fast, a blueprint, a solution that's going to solve something. This is the hook. Because we want to make people curious to want to pick up the book. Because I'm sure you're about to tell us all these things they need to know from step 1 to 12 are going to be pretty hardcore, and we're going to go, oh my God, this is too hard. We don't want to read a book like this, right? So what I need you to do, Mohammed, now is give me overarching big topics. If I was to become, let's say you see potential in me, and I want to become this property manager, right? What are the 12 things? And by the way, you might have more than 12 and all that, but let's keep it to 12 for the sake of this exercise. What are the top 12 things you need to teach me for me to become that property manager?
Okay, first, I usually would talk about the importance of income-producing assets. Why is it important for anybody to invest in assets that actually produce income for you?
Okay, I'm just going to call that one as short. I'm going to keep the names short because I won't fit them in here. Income/assets, we'll know what that means. Okay, next.
And then we'll talk about the definition of property management, because a lot of people don't know what property management
like
is.
I just asked you, what the hell is it? You know what I mean here. Property management. What? I'm just going to make little notes for myself here. I usually have a big whiteboard that I can, but these sheets are so little here. All right, next one.
The set of skills required to work in property management or to become a professional property manager.
That's all.
Commitment and skills involved.
So keep it high level. By the way, what I didn't say at the beginning, I'll say it now. If I interrupt you, it's not me being rude. We're just moving the process. Is that cool, guys? Yeah, cool. All right, next one.
Next, I would delve into the actual property management cycle for professionals.
The cycle.
To understand how the cycle runs. And that could be a lot of steps actually. From taking over the property, how to choose the right
That
property.
could be, though, guys, then subtopics within this particular chapter. So let's keep that one at a high level so we can see how many we come up with. Yeah?
Sure, but this could be the core of the actual
Oh,
discussion.
okay. So are there, say, 4 or 5 steps in this
There
cycle?
would be around, depends on how big the book could go. It can be, for example, my course started to be a 2 weeks course.
Okay.
I have a master's degree which it took me almost 18 months to get the property management.
Sure.
So it depends on how much you want to, how much depth you want to go into as well in each topic. But the cycle itself could be the core. I mean, this is where you identify how you actually evaluate the potential of a certain real estate asset and what makes it ideal for your portfolio. And then you go into the actual cycle after that in terms of financial planning, understanding the financials. Then you go into staging a property and marketing it.
Would we have those financial planning staging steps in separate chapters?
They could be each chapter actually.
Can you
Each
tell
of
me
these
that?
points.
I just want to organize it sort of. So there's financial planning, then there's staging. What else is there?
Staging, marketing,
Marketing.
then lead generation. For
Lead
marketing,
gen,
I
yep.
lead generation, leads, prospecting,
Yep.
screening, profiling. Then the whole moving process, snagging, inspection, how you actually evaluate the status of the property that you actually acquired when you move in a tenant.
Yes.
Then you go into actual tenant management and rent collection and maintenance, all of these activities.
All right. Let's create 1, 2, 3,
There could
4,
be
5.
sub-chapters. Well, I can keep going with these if you want on a broader level.
Let's come up with 6 main stages. Let's see if we can
Sure.
create a 6 or 7. 7 is a better number. People like 7s more. Okay, so if we can create the cycle of 7, because what we want to try to build is, you have so much detail in your head that you can share, but how do we simplify it for people is we can sort of say, okay, so if we create this cycle of, and we call it like this, and you start again, right? So the cycle of 7, of 7, and then we go, these are the 7 steps. Let's see if we can come up with 7. You can refine this at home anyway. So we had, the first one was the financial planning.
No, taking over a property.
Take
Identifying
over.
the
All right. So take over.
Or acquisition, if you want to show.
Acquisition. Okay. Next one.
Would be the financial planning.
Yes.
Evaluation.
Financial planning. Yes.
Then would be the actual staging and marketing.
So let's call that one under one marketing.
Sure.
Yeah, can we do that?
Marketing.
Yep.
Then leads generation and conversion.
Okay, yep, leads. I'm just going to call that one leads.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then the, how many do you want? Because I can
7 we wanted. So where are we? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Then the moving process.
The
Moving process.
Moving?
Moving in.
Moving in, okay. Moving in, yeah. Yep.
Rent collection.
Rent. And the issues around that and all of that.
Management, that's one.
Rent management, yeah. One more.
6, and one more. Renewal or exit.
Exit, yeah, exit plan.
Yeah, exit plan.
So the 12th chapter, just for this book, I mean, I guess it's not fully dissected, but we've got a high-level overview of this cycle of 7, and we could call that the cycle of 7 or whatever it is here. But the last chapter could be pulling it all together, like, okay, all this, but what's the, mega summary of all of this, or what are your or it could be next steps. Because you're saying you want to write a book every year, and I'm sure there's a book in each of these steps. Because he's got so much knowledge, you guys can tell that he's got so much knowledge, he could write a whole book on marketing and lead generation. For real estate, yeah, of course. It has to be relevant. Yeah, that's right. So this chapter can be like next steps or saying, okay, this is what you should do next and all that. It's up to you what you want to do.
Yeah, or tips or enablers, things that professional property managers should keep in mind.
Like shortcuts, maybe? Shortcuts, tips, things like hacks, as they like to call it, hacks. All right, let's go with hacks. All right. So we've got sort of what's our content in here. But for every one of you, if anyone wanted to be a property manager here, and I looked at a book and I went, oh my God, I've got to learn about financial planning and marketing and leads, and oh my God, it's like too hard. I don't want to do it because it's like I have to get another degree in this. I just want to be one and a successful one, and I just want to have your results yesterday, right? So now we're going to turn it into the sexy or the ego side. So let me explain a little bit about this side and this side. So let's take weight loss, for example. People need to eat less, exercise more, get organized, goal set, do all of that, but they want to lose weight in 5 minutes while eating chocolate. Yeah? So this is what we need to do to this side in order to attract people, because people buy wants, but then we give them needs. So I'm not saying change any of the content. What I'm saying is just change the makeup of it. Because the makeup of it is where people are going to go, yes, I want to do this. Because when I signed up for my coaching course, guess what the marketing says? 6 figures, part-time hours. And I was like, yeah, I want that. I'm a mum. I want 6 figures, part-time hours. I've never done 6 figures before, right? And that's what I bought into. But when I started doing the course, oh my God, all of this, they were giving me marketing, lead gen. Oh, it's not just coaching. I have to learn how to be a marketer as well, all right? So now I'm going to teach you the 5 different ways to sexy, and then we're going to pick one. You're going to pick one pattern or theme that you want to have, and all of us as a mastermind group together are going to contribute and give ideas on what it should be. And your role is to pick the one you like that you hear, and you say, lock it in that. And when I lock it in, I'll put it on the other side. Okay, ready? I'm going to teach them first. So, step 1. These are themes or patterns, right? So 1 word chapters, sometimes less is more, right? So I use that theme in the Natasha Denman Reveals 1,000 Days to $1 Million Coaching Business from Home. So this book was actually divided into 2 parts. Part 1 was Natasha Denman Up Close and Personal. I wanted to do a bit of my autobiographical story. And so instead of calling chapter 1 childhood, chapter 2 adolescence, chapter 3 adulthood, I called them imprint, transition, and growth, okay? And then the journey to $1 million, I called the chapters shortcut, message, expert, leverage, money, exposure, online, trademark, attitude, okay? So words that are strong, and go, ooh, what is she gonna say on the trademark? What is she gonna talk about on the money, right? So that can be a pattern or a theme that you can go with. The one that's my favorite is actually when you go with 2 words, or you kind of choose a pattern of 2 words, 2 words, 2 words, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. So an example of that is actually Guilt-Free Parents. We decided to do 4 words per chapter with Stuart, and we said, chapter 1, boobs, babies and business. Number 2, not a mumsy mum. Number 4, day job to entrepreneur. Number 7, 6 figures part-time, right? So we chose 4 words, 4 words, 4 words, and also kind of selling the want, right? So, hypnotic words. Let's talk about hypnotic words. Throughout all of these patterns, you have to use hypnotic language. What are hypnotic words? Hypnotic words are things like ultimate, free, you, your, unleash, unlock, breakthrough. How to is a hypnotic phrase. Leverage, like all of those words that make you go, ooh, secret, right? So if you don't know what hypnotic words are, download, go on Google them, Google hypnotic phrases, print pages of them, and use them in all of your marketing. So your blurb at the back of the book needs to be filled with hypnotic language, your title, your tagline, and certainly all of your chapter names, okay? Next one is mixed numbers with hypnotic words. So this is where you're not going on a pattern. You're not going, I'm going to have 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, or 3, 3, 3. You're kind of going 5 here, 2 here, but you're still using hypnotic words, so there's not tied in around a particular number of words. The following one, which we're not going to choose today, but you can do at home if you like, is the analogy. So I had an author, I didn't bring that book, who wrote a book called Traveling Home. And she's actually a business coach, and her book was about adopting 2 children in Ethiopia, moving them to Australia, and realizing there was a 3rd child left behind. Like they were separated, and there was a sibling. So she took 6 years to reunite this whole family back in Australia and to raise these 3 children. And her book was on resilience, yet she's a business coach. But the steps on resilience are the same, they're transferable. So she called her book Traveling Home, and her metaphor was travel. So her chapters were called like passport control, fellow passengers, oxygen mask, and so on. So how you do this particular theme is you dump down 15 to 20 different words to do with that metaphor analogy, and then you kind of look at your content and see what fits. That's why it takes a little bit long to do in this situation here, but that's how you do it at home. And you fit it. Now, if you're going to do that in the first paragraph of your chapter, you need to explain why you called your chapter that, because it can come across a bit ambiguous. Yeah? And the very last one is using the same word throughout. So I had an author who did a book, and every chapter started off with the power of this, the power of that, the power of the power of the power of the power of the power of, right? And so she, the guy, action coach guy, Brad Sugars, he writes books that start with the same word: instant leads, instant systems, instant cash flow, instant this. Instant is a hypnotic word. My word in a lot of my stuff is ultimate. And a lot of the time I just use ultimate everywhere. So, Mohanna, which one would you like to have a play with everybody here? So we can turn this left side into something more enticing for our reader.
I think given the target audience, I think the first chapter will appeal to a wider audience, investing in income-producing assets, because I think it will appeal to everybody versus the rest, which will be more targeted towards professional property managers.
Hang on. So, but I was thinking.
We're going to do this for all the chapters?
Yeah, but I need you to choose. Sorry, yeah, we got confused. Yeah. I need you to choose one of the 5, not choosing 4 because that takes too long to do. That we can do to now convert what the chapters are called.
Number 1.
So you just want one-word chapters?
Maybe, yeah. One-word chapter.
You're making it too easy on me. Let's do 2. Because one word we can pick it up. Let's do 2. All right, I'll do my favor because I feel like 1 I can do it in 5 seconds. But if we do 2, I want to teach the other guys a bit more how to make it oomph. Okay? So 2-word chapters. So for example, assets. So income producing assets, or what's the difference between an asset and a liability? This is what you will be talking about in this chapter?
Yes, defining assets and which ones are good for you to acquire and which ones you should stay away from.
Okay, so that's all dry and boring, right? But it's content. So if we learn this, what's the outcome? What's the outcome?
Financial freedom.
That's what the name of the chapter is. Okay, financial freedom. So what we have here is, obviously the word freedom is hypnotic, but financial is, we'll understand. So to achieve financial freedom, you need to understand the difference between assets and liabilities, right? And you need to stop buying doodads, yeah, as Robert Kiyosaki says, and start buying assets, that will make you rich. So leave it as that. Okay, property management. What is property management? Okay, so in this chapter, so see this chapter, guys, is the question you need to ask is, what is the outcome? Because people want to know what's the result they're going to have. They're going to buy first the result, and then they're going to get the solution. Does that make sense? Yeah? Cool. All right, property management. So when we understand what property management is, what would that mean? Maybe this could be the hassle-free. No, I think when we understand property management is, it could be like unlocking or demystifying property management, something like that. What do you like one?
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Unlocking?
Yeah, unlocking the mystery behind what property management is, because part of the people I actually certify have been in this industry for over a decade, and usually I do this for groups all over the region. And when I ask people about can you define property management, and although they've been working in the same industry for over a decade in the same company, each one of them will give me a different definition. And most of the time it's part of the full answer. So
okay, so I'm going to go, I know it's going to end up being 3 words, but it needs to be, because that's the main word, that's what this is about. So they'll identify with that because they obviously want to be that. Okay, so we're going to do unlocking property management. It's fine. Okay, skills. Okay, so what skills do you need? Yes, everyone needs to have skills, but what do they want? What's the results of having skills? What's the outcome when you're skillful?
It's basically being the ultimate at this career, being very good at what you do. Maybe stepping up. But the skills is mostly to see if you really have what it takes to succeed in this profession or not. And the answer is you don't have to be a superhuman being, but at least understanding what are the gaps you need to develop by taking courses or hiring somebody to fill this gap. So it's more of a
Can you say tick the skills?
Could be bridging gaps. Yes?
Sorry, I was thinking, because we're talking about property management, if we use number 4, using an analogy, then you can use different things about the home.
You can, but we're not doing that one. It's just gonna, this is gonna turn into an hour rather than half an hour. That's why absolutely you can, and I would probably, we can have a play with that outside of here. Was there a comment?
I want to say tick the skills. Because
Tick the skills. 2 words that we're looking for, yeah? Master skills. Yeah? Knowledge bank. Super performer. You need to pick the one you like. You need to pick the one. Yes? Be the expert. 2 words, guys. Go with 2 words. Outstanding. Killing it. Which one? Toolkit.
I like killing it.
Which one? Killing it. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Killing it. All right. The cycle. Well, this one could be called the cycle, and you kind of go, what is the cycle? You know what I mean? It's still, it's kind of, you're giving it a name, you know, but you could call it something else.
For me, it's more like the roadmap or the ultimate process or roadmap. I believe
Okay.
the process is having the right foundation.
It could be ultimate roadmap.
The ultimate roadmap. Something like
So just 2
that.
words.
But if anybody has
Anybody
a
else? Yes.
the roadmap.
Getting there. A roadmap and blueprint works well. Ultimate, yeah, let's lock it in. Let me tell you one thing, guys. Successful people make decisions fast, they change them slow. So what we need is like decisiveness and move and flow, yeah, right? Acquisition takeover. Okay, so when we know how to do the acquisition and takeover, what's the outcome of that? When we know how to do that really well.
It's like setting the right foundation. When you actually choose the right property,
Yeah.
you're saving yourself a lot of headaches in the future.
Okay,
But a lot
so
of people
it
do
could
this.
be save time. Everyone wants to save time. So, or shortcut, something shortcut.
Or having the perfect selection or the right choice. The perfect choice. The right
Perfect choice. I like
because,
perfect
because
choice.
the chapter will be talking about the 10 criteria that you need to
Yeah.
pay attention to select the right property.
Perfect choice. Or do we want to go choices? Because they're going to do more than one.
Yeah,
Yeah, choices.
choosing right.
Financial planning. What does financial planning do for us? What's the result of having proper financial planning?
This is again going back to financial freedom. This is about setting your goals and your expectations.
This could be fast track.
No surprises.
No,
Actually, no peace of mind.
peace of mind. Cash flow. Cash flow. Fast track. Fast track.
The cash flow comes maybe in the beginning where we explain it, but this is more about knowing what to expect or just having your financial plan in place, setting your policy, your expectations, what you're getting out of your investment.
Right evaluation.
No. Okay, too many people are talking. Yeah, I know, too many. Hands up and I'll choose. Yes.
Stay on top of the game.
Too many words? 2 words we're going for.
Success planning,
Success planning.
invest and expect.
Invest and expect that 3 words.
Plan your future.
Plan, no, 3 words.
Complete package.
What's that?
Complete.
Complete package, yeah.
Positive expectations.
Po-
Positive expectations.
Positive expectations, yeah.
No surprises.
No surprises. I like that.
You like, for now, no surprises?
Certainly.
Yep, okay. No
I was
surprise.
trying to see the
Okay. All right, so marketing. You know, you could call this one magnetic marketing. You could call it attraction. No, not
The
attraction.
way I actually look at marketing is
Yes.
I always, because a lot of people define marketing differently
Sure.
and then you go into the 4, 5, 6
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ps, all of that. For me, it's actually about getting the results from it. It's commercializing your marketing activities to generate leads. So,
Profitable marketing.
yeah, maybe profitable marketing.
Yeah.
I'm getting results.
Yeah, or results marketing.
Yeah, I like it. I like results marketing. All right, leads. could be constant flow.
And it's also, what I mean here by leads is actually how you actually profile or screen, prospect to make sure that you don't get, because this is about property management.
So maybe quality leads?
Quality leads.
Quality leads?
Lead magnet.
But they want quality. They do want
Yeah.
quality, yeah.
It all depends on having quality tenants, because if you rush and get any tenant, you might be.
This is a
shooting
want.
yourself in the foot.
This is a want,
Yeah.
yeah? Moving in?
Can you call it hassle free?
The moving in experience is actually, again, part of the process. You can, people think it's just signing a contract and moving in, and no, there is a whole process that you have to go through to ensure that your
Could it be
and the tenant's experience and the landlord's expectations are met. It's a whole checklist of things that you have to go through.
What about easy move? Hassle free?
But hassle-free is just tackling one side of the story, which is making sure it's smooth. It's
Smooth
more-
move.
Maybe
Smooth move, yeah. All right, rent management. Rental
That's where cash flow comes in.
Yeah,
That's
cash
where
flow.
The power of cash flow, the power of money,
I
it's,
think.
passive income. This is what.
Yeah, so either cash flow or passive income, I would say this one. People want that. Okay, they want it. Exit plan?
Exit plan is exit plan.
It is.
Actually, but in property management, a lot of people take the mistake of trading in real estate. They actually, the speculators, we call them, people who buy and sell. What I'm trying to educate people about is that real estate is a long-term investment instrument. So you should not go into it for the short run, but you should always have an exit plan. And the exit plan should always be mapped out, keeping in mind the long run.
Yeah.
So
Cashing out, yeah.
Excellent departure.
Exit and departure over there. Money back, yeah. Plan B.
Parachute.
Moving out. I like it.
sorry, keep going.
Fire exit, so it could convey that.
Fire exit, yeah.
Jumping off the boat.
It's not the negative connotation of
No,
exit.
we
It's
don't-
actually- it's
We don't
actually
want to have,
getting out at the right time, because
Yeah.
the ultimate goal of investing in real estate is to get passive income
What
over
about-
the years, but
what about-
also get capital appreciation after a long while. So it's actually reaping the
Timed exit.
all the time.
Timed-
The perfect exit. The
Perfect exit, yeah.
We use perfect.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Hacks. Hacks could just be married up with something else, like
The ultimate hacks.
ultimate. We've got ultimate. So what could be another word for ultimate?
It's not about being, it's about becoming more efficient and effective. It's about giving you tips to enable you to become more successful and look better and attract, the right, have the momentum actually. Momentum hacks maybe. Or something.
Momentum hacks. Yeah, I
Something
like
that's
momentum.
something that keeps you going, because again, being a property manager is being in the service industry, so referrals are very important for you.
Yeah, momentum hacks. I like it. Okay, now let's come up with title and tagline. Now, let me just educate a little bit about titles and taglines. So not every book needs a tagline. Like Ultimate 48-Hour Author doesn't have a tagline. It says everything it needs to say. So you don't need a tagline if you say everything. But a lot of books are ambiguous. So for example, Rachel's book here, it's called Turbocharged. It's like, what does that mean if we only had that as a title? So the tagline is How to Take Your Auto Repair Business from Survival to Success. Oh, shit, it's a book on how to help mechanics grow their businesses, right? And we know it's from this and to that. So with titles, I like you guys to keep them anywhere from 1 to 5 words. Not too long, not too hard to say, hey, I'm Mohanat, author of blah, 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 or something. And taglines, you can have them as long as you really want to. As long as they say everything they need to say. Please don't repeat the same word across from the title to the tagline. So if one word appears, say turbo appeared in the title, you know how to turbocharge your business. Don't waste words, don't repeat them twice. So taglines can be how to this, or from this to that, or a 12-step blueprint, blah, 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 right? Or the essential guide to whatever. So let's come up with a potential title for this book and then a tagline before we start to go to break. Okay, give us some suggestions and let's see. Remember, we've got to sell to the ego. This is ultimately what's going to sell. Go, give us some.
The way, before I say the names,
Yeah.
the way I thought about it is the target audience and also trying to appeal to a wider audience as well, not just the professionals. So
Right.
I have names like property management, the Dubai way, because Dubai is looked at as a capital for real estate now all over the world.
Mhm.
We have appealed the new breed of property managers.
So far, they sound like taglines to me. These.
Well, anyway, there was
Yeah,
just
go,
like
go,
a-
go. Keep going. Keep.
Wealth maximization through property management.
Mm-hmm.
Managing real estate, ins and outs of property management, landlording in Dubai.
Landlording could be the actual title. Landlording, full stop. I like that so far. Just full stop could be the actual title. Landlording. Is that an actual word or you've made it up? It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter if he's made it up or whatever. It's actually quite unique. So it's a little bit disruptive and going, okay, this is it. Boom, one big title. How to become a property champion, yeah? Yeah? Could be. You're along the same line. So we're going to stop here. I know that you guys have 1,000,001 ideas, but do you get what we're doing? So let's just have a bit of a look here. We've got landlording, perhaps from renting to financial freedom. We've got financial freedom, unlocking property management, killing it, ultimate roadmap, perfect choices, no surprises, results marketing, quality leads, smooth move, cash flow or passive income, perfect exit, and momentum hacks. Much nicer than this side. Is that right?
I agree. I have a question.
Yeah.
Does it have to be 2 words?
No.
So it can be.
No, you can do the mixed numbers and all that. We just did it for a theme to do it. But you can go the mixed numbers. You can have 3. We had 3 here anyway, but we tried to keep it with 2. No, there's a choice of all the different ones that you can do, as long as it's filled with what people want, not what people need, and that it's selling to the ego, and that it's the result that they're buying, not the content. This is yours to take in the break if you want. We'll have it. Please, if you guys anyone takes a photo of this, do not share it on social media. Keep it because this is Mohanad's book, okay? Give him a round of applause, yay! Beautiful. So what I'm going to play you now very briefly is a little video. So this is the video when I need the sound a little bit louder. Because it was done obviously on phones and all that. Some of my authors who finish retreat tell us about their experience, and it's only about 60 seconds, but I want you to notice their book titles and how we use this concept of selling to the ego and selling what people want. So here we go.
Amazing and an ultimate experience for me, being able to set a goal and achieve a goal as I'm finishing a book. I'm very disappointed that we're finishing up because I can't get enough of Natasha and her crew. I have learned so much. They've been very forthcoming in their knowledge, in sharing, and helping us grow. I've had breakthroughs. I've had multiple breakthroughs.
The location is great, and they're so generous in sharing everything that they have learned, and it's a totally invaluable weekend that I've spent.
Matt's energy and passion is contagious. Stu hooked me with some marketing and copy tips, which was just fabulous.
And this weekend was the weekend that it all came together. So I would recommend this program to any of you that's been thinking but hasn't been doing. So thank you very much to Natasha and Stuart Denman, and may I say, you inspire.
So those are some of our authors, and I wanted to show you that because you could see some of the titles were disruptive, like what the F is the cloud, like how does an IT guy make a book sexy, right? But everyone in today's world goes, what's this cloud, what is it about, and all that. This guy is now collaborating with Dropbox and Microsoft because of that. Did I bring his book? No, I didn't. But if you see his book, it's actually only about 20,000 words, and it's very simple, but he's built credibility and leverage and absolutely smashing it out there. Then we had Ditch the Ladder. Now all of these books also had taglines. I just didn't put them on the video. It was just the main title that I put on there. Yes, what would you tell your old self, and what do people see in you that they want for themselves as a result of what that old self ended up solving for her? Yeah, and there was one comment just there, yeah. How did I start making my network? Went networking twice a week. I don't know, do you guys have Mustafa told me actually the last 2 dates that he was part of a BNI group, and you're part of one. I was part of them for 3 years in Australia. So I joined, now I'm a member of the Professional Speakers Association. They have a monthly meeting. So there's generally congregations where business people go and meet and have lunches or dinners or breakfasts and stuff, and you get an opportunity to meet. And I got so much free advice along the way in the early days because I just became friends with all these other experts. And certainly I paid for stuff. I don't want stuff for free all the time, but you do get to mingle like with bookkeepers and accountants and lawyers, and it's really great. What was that? Yes? Yeah, go for it.
So like here we have, because I'm lady, so I just joined the Dubai Women's Council, which they do normally events like every week or something like Women's Council. Yeah, and they have also Charter Women's Council,
yeah.
which that one is free also, so you can get into that. And they start to have like some, like we have last week the Think Pink, which is good for breast cancer awareness.
Yeah.
So like every week they have different kind of.
Yeah. Lots of, yeah. So the comments were, just about associations, women's associations and things like that. Once you start looking, then you have to decipher which one should I go to, which ones I shouldn't go to, and all that sort of stuff. So it's overwhelming after a while, and definitely turning up regularly and being seen and being committed so people know that you're not just going to disappear 2 weeks later is really important. So being a member of a couple of associations is important as well. All right, yeah.
My area of expertise has to do with internet marketing, and
Internet.
we normally do not socialize a lot in person,
Yes.
but we do have groups that we do online.
Yeah, totally. You can network online. It just takes a lot longer to build a relationship. Touch points online are probably quadrupled the amount of touch points you have to have face to face. Yeah, but totally, like social media is, as long as you build relationships and you're there and you're always adding value. This is how I grew my business nationally without advertising, is by people just seeing me all the time and contacting me from the different cities in Australia, and then I was invited to come across and do events there, and that's how it happened. But yeah, it's just a little bit longer online to network. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. What do I think about writing a book of poems? And reflections, yeah. I wouldn't think that could be monetized majorly in the viewpoint that I have around writing books. So I wouldn't recommend it as the first book. I think that's like a passion book, and I would do one that you can monetize first, and then when you're okay financially, certainly do books like passion books and ones that, just make you feel amazing. But of course you want to help other people through them as well. Yeah. All right, most people are kind of have filed in. I'm sure there's going to be more coming back in from break. Are you ready to keep going? Yes, good, excellent. All right, so publishing smarts, the publishing industry can be like a bit like this. You don't know what you're getting yourself into, and I want to debunk all of the different types of publishing that exist out there and what sometimes people will think when what are their values, okay? So I have found that in the book writing world, there are 3 key values that people seem to prefer over others. And I'm going to explain the 3 key values and what I don't value and what I value myself, okay? So let's go through the first one. So bestseller status. Who here has seen advertising out there that says, we're going to make you a best-selling author? Yeah? All right, so let me tell you how I became a best-selling author by accident, naively, and how dodgy it is, okay? So this is a collaborator book. This book I was asked to be a part of after doing my weight loss book. They came up to me and they said, Nat, we want you to write the health and wellness chapter for this book. There's 13, 14 other people part of it. And, we've heard you're doing well, so we want you to do that chapter. And I said, okay, so what's the deal? Like, they go, well, look, there's an investment of $3,000, and for that, you're going to get 500 copies of the book, and we're going for bestseller status. And I thought, oh, okay, that sounds all right. So I went through and I signed up, and I got my 500 books. They said, you sell your first, 100 at $30, there's your $3,000, you've got 400 more books. And so then I go, okay, so we did it, and the books came. And I open up my spreadsheet in Excel and I go, okay, now I'm going to write down what sales, because you need to sell 5,000 printed books to become a best-selling author, in Australia, but it's similar in different countries, okay? And so I said, so Julie, how do you want me to submit? This is a week after the book comes out. And I said, how do you want me to submit the amount of sales that I have made? And I said, because we're going for bestseller status. And I said, by the way, why is this little golden stamp already on the book that says we're bestseller? And I said, did we already sell 5,000 books? Like, it's been a week. And she said, well, yes, Nat. She said, because you guys bought the books. And I go, what? We bought the books? She goes, yeah, 10 people, 500 books, there's your 5,000 books. She goes, because she's the organizer, so it wasn't coming from her. So therefore, as long as your cousin, friend, or whatever buys the 5,000 books, you can put your bestseller stamp on it. Oh my God, I said, that's dodgy. She goes, no, it's completely legit. So for companies that sell the bestseller status, usually they will execute a strategy to make you a best-selling author, and they make you buy your own books. It's not like, oh, you're so super awesome that your books have sold so much. Am I a believer that bestseller, having a stamp on your book that says bestseller, or you can then in the future put best-selling author on your books, gives you more credibility? Yes. Okay, I've done it and I do it, but I don't necessarily teach it or make you do that yourself. I'll tell you, I've just taught it to you right now, right? So people also, I used to think the true authentic bestsellers were the books that you find on the New York bestselling time list. But when I went to the US, they told me that people buy their way into that list as well. So then I was like, oh my God, there's just always a way to get into something. Apparently Donald Trump had done that. So the second type of bestseller, so you've got your hardcover bestseller. By the way, contributor books, which one should you do? You don't do the ones people ask you to put money in. So the one that invested $3,000, total waste of money. Okay, total waste of money.
I have a question.
Yes.
So that little stamp, I can put it myself and nobody would know.
Potentially you could, but then you might need to show proof of the sales which Julie would have had from us, right? So yes, you can, but yeah, you can be questioned and all that sort of stuff. So contributor books, you don't do the ones that people ask you to pay money to be part of, okay? Because you're in amongst 10 or 15 other people. And being in amongst that many people, it's just like, it loses. You don't get the credibility. The second best book you can do is if you want a co-author. So Francesca and I co-authored Bums on Seats. Stuart and I co-authored. Those kind of books still are pretty strong in terms of giving you that credibility. But these types of books, no. Now, if they ask you to do a contributor book for free, like I was asked to be part of this one, there's me. Yes, the answer is always yes. Why? Because you can never have your name into as many places as possible. Other people are promoting it and all that. So please don't pay for contributor books. Save your money or keep your money or invest your money into your own book, to do your own book. If you get asked for free, of course, every time say yes. All right? So the second type of bestseller is the Amazon bestseller stamp. Who's seen it? They've got the most beautiful stamp that goes on the book. And I'll show you an image later on the PowerPoint where one of my authors had that strategy executed. So let me teach you how they do it. Okay? So they get the book. You hire someone who can do this strategy. You don't do it yourself. It's administratively annoying. And you get the book and they upload the book onto Amazon in a subcategory that doesn't have a lot of competition. So maybe Mohanad's book will have a lot of competition in property and all that sort of books. But if we found a subcategory that doesn't have, like it's kind of like a sideway, backdoor entry kind of into that particular niche, and then we uploaded his book, and then what he would do is he would announce to his network, look guys, I would love your support. My book is launching next Thursday. It'll be available for just 99 cents, because what they do is they drop the price on that 24-hour period down to 99 cents from the normal price, and then your network goes and buys lots. So long as you sold the most books in the 24-hour period, you get your Amazon best-selling stamp for life. Okay? That's it, 24 hours. You could sell one book and no one else sells another book in that category, and you're still an Amazon #1 bestseller. Yes?
How long?
24 hours. 24 hours. I think you can do that with your network. You'd like to do it with your eyes closed, right? But even people who don't have the profile that you do this all the time. And then on their bio, they go, Amazon #1 best-selling, and everyone thinks, oh my God, they must be so good, right? But people don't know what I just told you. So it is just a strategy. And that's why Ultimate 48-Hour Author doesn't necessarily, it values the credibility that a bestseller brings to you. It doesn't value the way it is done. Because, anyway, I just taught it to you. You don't need to pay me $15,000 to learn that, okay? So if you want to do it, but just know that the next time you see a best-selling stamp on a book, you'll be a little bit more dubious, right? Yes. Yeah? The true bestsellers. Who knows of Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Yes. Who knows of Harry Potter? Yes. They're the ones, you guys, right? The ones that we hear of. There's millions printed and all that sort of stuff, right? All right, the second value in the book writing world is we're going to make you rich just selling books, right? Forget about it. There's no money in book sales. I have had longer conversations trying to sell a $20 or $30 product than trying to sell my 20 grand program, which in 20 grand is in Australian dollars, right? It's crazy. Let me tell you why. Might want to write this down. Why I don't focus on this and why I basically think it's a waste of time. Books equal information and knowledge, okay? Implementation equals transformation. Okay, so let's explain that a little bit. With a book, you're not going to change someone's life. You might whet their appetite, you might build a little bit more trust and intimacy, but most people who buy a book, 95% of people will never read past the first chapter, so you've got nothing to worry about. Just write your book. Don't be too precious on it, right? But it is when you use this book to build the trust and ultimately lead them to the point where you can help implement, like through your trainings, where they get hand holding and they invest at a higher level. That's where transformation occurs. If I read your book, I'm not going to become a property manager tomorrow. It's way too deep, you said. It's way too much information that I've got to invest a lot of time and learning. It's probably a university degree that you deliver, pretty much. So why I love implementation is because that's where you get to make contribution, right? You don't contribute here. Yeah, you can inspire, people can see you like as a lot more credible, but you don't transform people's lives. It is only at implementation that transformation occurs.
So okay, what I'm trying to understand here, with books, in books there's information and knowledge.
Yeah.
But when you get to this process of meeting this workshop thing, and this is what we're actually selling to show the transformation of that journey.
Yeah, so this event, let's talk about this event, right? You guys are here complimentary because Moustafa sponsored this event to put this on, right?
Yes.
So, unfortunately, everyone who walks out of this room and doesn't progress to do the program, the reality after 140 events that I have done, 2 people have followed through to write a book. So have they transformed their own life and others? No. But everyone who goes through to implementation with me, over 90% will have their book in hand. Now, are you curious what happens to the other 10%? Huh? Are you? Yes. Life gets in the way. People have gotten sick or have had sick children or have been uber rich that it was a nice idea at the time, but it's not really, they don't have the pain to actually get out there and get it finished. So, you know, I attract about 40% really successful people. And, you know, they go, oh, yeah, I want to do it. This is a new project and all that. And then they won't follow through. So that's what happens to the 10%. But me and Stuart are always following up and going, where are you at? How can we help you? We haven't even given up on that 10%. We're still following up with them going, and we want them to finish. My most important thing is that you guys cross the finish line. Because the transformation is not just other people. Let me tell you, the transformation is first you. You transform. So when I see little mouse authors who are so quiet and shy and reserved grow and transform, and then they're able to help other people, this is what I do. Okay, question.
Whenever I start think of writing something, I feel, oh, I'll do it a little bit later because I'll be in
Yeah.
And I'll be,
That's called the ducks lining up scenario.
Yeah, I can feel it, but do you think we should do it at whatever point we are even...
I did it when I had one paying client. I wrote a book on weight loss when I had one paying client in my business.
If you don't have any,
You don't have to. Do you have life experience? Most of you here are at a life that probably you've had quite a lot of life experience and stories and things you've overcome.
Yeah,
okay.
There is no crescendo in the,
You say yes, then you work out the how. That's just super success. If you write that one down, say yes, you work out the how. Because if you watch Mother Duck, the mother duck and the ducklings, okay? So they're walking around and they follow, right? They're following nature. Nature's perfect in this. When the mother duck says, yes, I'm going to go turn left now, it is then the ducklings that they'll follow. So your ducks will never line up until you say yes to the different direction. That makes sense? And then the duckling says, yeah, and then they follow here, and yes, this is my path. Last comment?
So, yeah, in your opinion, can anybody become a writer?
Anybody. I never learned writing. Never went to a literary degree, never did any of that stuff. I just said I just have stuff to share. Anybody can do it. If you can talk, you can write. Most of us can talk, I hope, in this room. All right, you guys, let me show you some stats. Let me show you some stats why I hate this, the dollars from books. Watch this. To sell $100,000 worth of books, you have to be in the top 2% of published authors in your country. I hardly think a first-time author is going to achieve that, okay, in reality. To sell $100,000 worth of books, you need to be in every major bookstore in the country who takes more than 70% of the cost of sale, leaving you very little. So imagine how many units need to be sold to make 6 figures. To make $100,000 worth of books, you will need to spend most of your waking hours promoting, spruiking, and pushing your book. Now, the last one may not make sense to you, but you'll see what I mean. To make $100,000 worth of books, actually it would be easier to just go get a job. But with the average wage in Australia being $50,000, well, you may as well get 2 jobs, right? So stop thinking about books are going to make you rich. Go back to the triangle, and we're talking about leverage. How do we use this business card on steroids, which is up the top of your funnel generally, to get people to the different levels so we can transform, right? So we can get and make a difference, because how possibly could I have done this for 3.5 years if I didn't feel that all of these guys here are making a huge impact in their businesses and their lives and to other people? It's just not sustainable. You don't do this crazy traveling and being in front of people and giving your heart and soul and everything to them if it doesn't make a difference. Yeah? Cool. So, before I go into this actually, I'm going to talk a little bit about the mistakes that I made with my first book and how I wish that I knew I had someone alongside me like me to help me and show me a little bit how to be more savvy about this. First of all, about the company, I'm not going to mention any names. There's no need to mention any company names. But I'd show someone on Google, and let's say, let's go. So this is what happened. So I joined I found someone, and I paid it was about $5,000 to $7,000 to publish my book. So it was like the layout, the editing, cover, the barcode number on the book, and 80 copies, a whole 80 copies of my book. And what I didn't realize is that this was the top of their sales funnel. So they get you in at a lower cost. But then they tried to upsell me. Still 6.5 years later, I get a fortnightly phone call where they're trying to sell me into done-for-you marketing packages that are anywhere from $15,000 to $50,000, okay? So for people that don't know otherwise, and they go, oh, I just want someone else to do my marketing, they'll buy these, and these are not guaranteed. This is where they actually make their money. Second thing where they make their money is they don't give you the rights to your book, so which means you have to constantly go back and print from them. So every time I wanted to print another 100 of these, they would try to charge me $1,500. That's $15 a book. It's a lot. That's not a lot of profit when you sell your book if you're selling it, say, at $20. That's ridiculous. So they make money, more than 50% of that $15 a book will be their profit as well. Make sense? So I didn't have the option to go elsewhere. So then I thought, okay, so how am I going to solve this, right? So you may have noticed that actually I have 2 covers to this book. Now, I didn't learn very much about the covers from book 1 to book 2, but I'll talk to you about that in a second. I went to my publishing team that I ultimately have hired to do all of our books. By the way, we only use one. Our suppliers have not changed since day one, 3.5 years in. We're still a super strong team, and the same people that started with us are the same people that are with us today. So Blaze at the publishing company, she said, well, Nat, I said, how am I going to solve this problem? I don't want to go to those guys. They're annoying me. They're harassing me. They're selling me stuff all the time. I just don't want to talk to them. And she said, well, do you have the writing in your book, like your manuscript? I said, yeah, I do. Do you have the little illustrations you have in each of your chapters, like illustrations? And I said, yeah, I do. So she said, let's relay it out. Let's do a new layout because you can't get your file off them, print ready. Let's put your more relevant branding, like not the PRS coaching. Let's buy a new ISBN number and we can, print it here in Australia. And I said, how much? She says, $1,500, including all of that work plus the next 100 books. No brainer.
Can you just repeat slowly, please? So can you repeat this part about the illustration?
Sorry,
Can you repeat the part?
So she basically took all the images and took all the copy because I had it in a Word document. She got her husband, Kev, who is our layout designer, to relay out the whole book. She bought a new ISBN number. We changed the cover image and all that, and we reprinted it, and now it's available for me to print from them anytime, or I can take my CD of my book and print it anywhere I want. Make sense? Yes?
Sorry, is there any way that publisher can just say you cannot do that?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about rights in a minute. Yeah, I often answer all the questions by the end of today because I've done this quite a few times and I know all the questions that will come up. All right, so that's what happened. We redid it, so I solved my problem. And so the mistakes, as in marketing mistakes now. So I got stuck with them. Basically, I used to get Stuart to answer the phone to tell him to piss off, and I don't swear normally, and he they just drove us crazy, and they still do to this day. I don't know what else, who can I contact to put a harassment thing against them. But the mistakes that I made. So the cover, first of all the cover, because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have someone like me to guide me. What the hell is going on with this cover? It's a weight loss book. Why am I standing there in a sexy dress holding an apple or something? You know what I mean? Like, it's just my face on it. The right thing that I did is I did put my face on it. Because if you want to be a thought leader and you want to be recognized for what you do, certainly put yourself on the cover. So that's why you might notice a lot of our authors are on their covers. Is because it's a strategy because you want to start being recognized for being the face of the business. If you're not comfortable, you don't want to do that, you don't have to. You can do something like that and be on the back of the book, right? But I highly recommend if you are going to be in a thought leadership space or you're going to be the face of the business that you are. So I did that right, but it's not the right staging, if you like. Then my chapters are not very sexy. Listen to this. Ultimate weight loss secret number 1, goal setting. Get organized, language, diet, exercise, mindset. Like really, really just the need side, yeah? Other things, there's no seeding in the book. So there's no kind of like, hey, you should come to me to work with me in a way. But you know when I talk about seeding, it's like selling without selling, right? And also there's no calls to action at the end of the book. So there's no like, hey, this is how you can work with Natasha, this is how you can get involved and all that. So those are just the 4 or 5 major mistakes that I made. There's no way to generate leads. Now I encourage my authors to put a lead magnet at the start and at the back of the book. Like there's so many different things you can do, and I've learned obviously through all of the different books I've done. But because I didn't know anyone like me, I just kind of did it myself and went out there. Bottom line is I did it, didn't I? So it's still, the book came out, it still made a difference for me and in my world, but bottom line is I did finish. That was the most important thing. I could have done it better, and had I known better I would have, but this was the best thing I could do at the time. But it still did wonderful things. So when you're saying, when's the right, just do it. Your first book's always going to be your worst. You just won't know it at the time. Yeah? All right, so next one, I'm going to compare the 3 different industries. Now, I'm going to compare traditional publishing for you, self-publishing, and then ultimate 48-hour author, and I'm going to give you pros and cons in each of those 3. okay, so that you understand them better. So traditional publishing. So this is where a company who's their business is publishing, but they are very selective in terms of who they accept to publish their book. So I don't know if you've heard, the most famous one in the world is Penguin. Have you anyone heard of Penguin? Okay, that's a traditional publishing house. And so they fund the process. So if they love your manuscript, they will fund the process. That's a pro. However, the process is super, super slow and super selective. I doubt anyone writing their first book would ever get selected. Sometimes people put the blinkers on and go, traditional publishing and nothing else, you know, because it's more prestigious or whatever. And I go, well, you're going to be in for a long ride. 20 years later, you still won't be published. Okay, so it's my least favorite of the three routes. They reject a lot. Like, you know, it's like 1 in every 1,000 manuscripts that probably gets sent through them gets accepted. And then they're in full control of the process. Like you might end up with a book that doesn't sound or look like how you want it, because obviously their ultimate goal is, you know, focuses on book sales, from which you will only get a tiny percentage cut, because that's how they make their money back. And the thing is, when we're talking about rights, is they tend to retain the rights, which means to buy your rights back, it could be 6 figures plus to have full control over your book, okay? So credibility, you will have greater credibility, you will be definitely in bookstores. However, one thing that most people don't know is, you know, the ones that I talked about before, Rich Dad, Poor Dad and Harry Potter, they were originally self-published and then they got picked up by traditional publishers. So there is actually a backdoor entrance. Get actually self-published first and then do well with your book and then approach traditional publishers and they can take your project on board, and that way you get it done a lot faster. The whole process is 2 or 3 years if you get accepted with these guys. Get real. I haven't got 2 or 3 years to waste. I want it out in a few months, right? And no support. So they don't help you write the book, and there's no support. So sometimes people say, oh, if I get accepted by a traditional publisher, they will market me and I can just sit back and relax and stuff. And I go, no. They will market your launch, but after your launch, they're on to their next book project. They're on to doing the next stuff. So you still got to market yourself. And also with these guys, I had a lady who came up and she was considering us or something like this. She said, oh, but no, they're going to do my marketing for me. I said, please go with them. Don't choose me. Because for your first book, you've got to get your hands dirty. Go and do the work. Know what to do. Then you can outsource what needs to be done, right? Because you are the best person to do your own sales and marketing. In business, the last thing you ever outsource is sales and marketing. Look at me. Right now, I'm still in a sales and marketing position. I've outsourced my admin, my event management stuff, and all of these bits and pieces that go around the business. But ultimately, the last thing I'll ever let go of is the sales and marketing. Yeah? So don't try to outsource it to someone else before you do it good yourself. Because how else are you going to teach someone how to do it properly the way you would, so you get the same conversion rate, right? So the rejections, so have I covered everything off? Yep, everything's covered off. So that's traditional publishers, my least favorite out of the 3 routes. Because I like to be in control, okay? I don't want other people to give me, you need to do this, you need to do that. It's like you may as well be back in a job where an employer is telling you, do this and do that. All right, self-publishing. Self-publishing is the route that I followed here, okay? I just bought a standalone package and I finished my book. The pros are, it's certainly a lower cost way to start. You're guaranteed to become an author. You will become more credible because you have become an author. But the cons are that it's very slow to execute. Why do you think I say it's really slow to execute? No. So you know this lady who did a contributor book, she bought the same package that I bought with the weight loss people. Back at the time, I didn't know what was going to happen. So I said, oh yeah, I'm working with them. They seem okay. She bought a package. It took 4 years for this book to come out. 4 years. And in the end, when it was nearly finished to go to layout, I said, Margaret, give me back my chapter. Because 4 years later, the goal and vision for what I stand for and what I can deliver on this topic has changed. So I'm rewriting your new chapter So you can bring this out. So there's no support. You're kind of on your own. And for your first book, it is really, like my husband often says, you know, Nat, like people are not like you. They're not like so focused and all that sort of stuff. So most people left to their own devices will just, you know, stagnate and not move through. You must coordinate it yourself. So if you're just getting this, well, you know, how do you know what all the other components you should have if you've never done it before? And no marketing education, because they're only giving you a publishing package. They're not going to teach you how to market yourself, because for that you've got to hire them, right? It can look unprofessional and amateur. So talking about, let's talk a little bit about quality of printing and things like that. So this book was not done through our publishers, and if you can see, this book is stark white paper, really white paper. Now if you think really white paper is like more prestigious, you're wrong. Stark white paper actually reeks of self-publishing, and sometimes people get like glossy paper and all that, and it's not. So when you look at some of the other books on the table, what we do is we do off-white paper. Off-white paper that's a little bit rough, and it's also a little bit thicker as well. Why do we do that? You might think, oh, that looks cheap or whatever, but it's actually how traditional publishers do their books. So we want a traditionally published book quality in a self-published book. Now, if you want bigger books, smaller books, a different cover, you can do all of that. It's completely up to you. This is a standard size book. This is the most common size of the books. You can do matte and gloss cover or whatever it is. If you start changing other components of the book, it can end up a little bit more expensive, so be very mindful. Color books are 4 times the price of black and white. Okay? So if you want to be more profitable, you might want to stick to something that's more standard, because ultimately the goal is for us to transform people. The book is just that in between. So you don't need to be too precious on it. I just want to tell you that, and that's why a lot of our authors did choose the standard size. We don't force them, though. You can see there's a pocket size book. We've done bigger books. We've done different things. One author did like an embossed cover where the letters are a little bit sticking out. That's kind of really expensive to do as well. And yeah, so that's the difference why they're the way they are. So if you wanted anything alternative, you can. It's possible. Anything is possible. Yeah, we just chose what we chose. Okay, no mentoring accountability. They can sell you expensive marketing packages, and they don't also help you write the book. So I think Moustafa was mentioning earlier that people pay a certain company $5,000 and then their money just sits there. Well, that's what Margaret's money sat there for 4 years. Because unless they're not going to call you and go, where's your manuscript, where's your manuscript, where's your manuscript? They're happy, they got their money, so it's up to you now to hand over your work. But when you're on your own, it's really hard to follow through. Last of all, ultimate 48-hour author. Okay, so I developed this little pyramid because sometimes people only saw us as a publishing company. Like it's almost like, oh, you're going to help me write my book, and you've got all the editors and you've got all the people, but actually don't understand that the publishing part of it is only really a small component of what the whole program stands for, okay? So the disadvantage is it is initially a large investment. There's no doubt about that, yeah? We agree with that. Now, let's talk about, so from the top, the publishing is the smallest component. Okay, the next thing is the community. So our community within Ultimate 48-Hour Author, all over 200 people that we now helped, you would agree that those 200 people are pretty high-level individuals. Yeah? So how would it be to be in a network of really high level and some super successful individuals? Yeah? You're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself? Oh. So by having access to the community, I mean, now that we're going international everywhere, you now start getting an access to an international support and an audience. So I believe the community, I mean, some of my authors, like this, Rachel, she told me that there was this government export grant that I could get because I took my business to the US, and all of a sudden I realized that I qualify to get 50% of my expenses covered for all of these international trips. The government will give me a grant. If I didn't know that, I wouldn't have gotten that $50,000, $60,000. Here's the community playing a big part in helping me, and vice versa, we help each other out. So these are all tips that you don't find out like outside of, you know, in the general sense of the world. So 48-Hour Author, the system is replicable. So you're not choosing to be part of the system for your first book only. Rachel's already created 2 or 3 other programs using the same method as she used to write her very first book. So the process is replicable, and most people I go, this is when you said you're going to write a book every year. That's what I do with my own system. You're not investing in it to just write your first book, even though it seems like that in the beginning. You've got to think long term. It's an investment for every single other book you're going to do. And I stayed at her house in Newcastle. She's from Newcastle, which is just outside of Sydney. And she came up to me with the chapter unpack template. She goes, Nat, look, I'm still using the chapter unpack template, and I've got my new program all done and stuff. And I go, awesome, that's fantastic. Next thing is the marketing and leverage. So obviously we do specific education on how to leverage and market your book so that you get as much oomph, and return on investment for what you've invested originally in the program. So not only are you coming to a retreat, but in the back end of my YouTube channel are all these hidden training videos. So my online portal, if you like to call it, has over 200 hours of film training on how to leverage yourself as a speaker, how to do your social media successfully as an author. There's just so many topics. Publicity, how to get publicity and get into the media and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of additional training. Francesca and I, this is my sister from another mother, we wrote this book together, and her and I host 4 masterclasses. So these are 2-day events 4 times a year, where we bring in a lot of this information. Now, of course, you wouldn't travel to Australia 4 times a year to attend it, but our authors who live in Australia can come complimentary to them. Okay, but you guys would get access to the film footage, and very soon we'll probably just start live streaming so everyone internationally can be part of it, and usually the footage is available within a week of that masterclass. So there's like an additional 8 days of full training that we have. And we've already run 7 or 8 of these that are already available in the back end of the portal. And last of all, mentoring and support. So you don't get to deal with John, the virtual assistant based in whatever country. You get to deal with me and my husband, Stuart. So we are the 2 mentors, and we work closely with our people. So when you need us, you're talking to us. You're not talking to the X person to get in front of. You need to talk to 3 people before you get to us, right? And we're super responsive. Remember I said one of my biggest values is fast? So we're like onto our stuff. We're constantly clearing messages and answers for people, and we're constantly helping them to keep moving them through to completion. Bottom line is I'm interested in everyone finishing. Now, some of you might be like, oh, Nat, I'm a bit scared about speaking out my book, okay? So I want to just give a little bit of a distinction. Not every single one of our authors chooses to speak out their book. Some authors choose to type, and that's okay, just they have to realize it's going to be a little bit longer. My only interest is you finish. And some authors already have written their manuscript and it's ready to go. And they go, we want your system, we want to come, we want to go through your people, and here's the book, and I'm ready to publish. So I'm going to come to the retreat, and then we're going to send the book on the Monday morning, or even we can start the process a lot earlier. Does that make sense? Yeah? So it's really amazing the rate of speed that all of this happens. So I like to look at it from the left-hand side. So the top is the process. So getting the publishing, it's just the process. Then we go into strategy. How do we do it? How do we do this faster? But obviously results is when you actually get involved in the full picture of it all. Make sense? All right. Okay, any questions on publishing before I move into leverage with the book? Did this explain a few different aspects of the world? Yeah? Okay, I can keep going. All right, you guys. So I'm about to show you a mind-blowing mind map. And you're not going to see it clearly here. This is why you're getting the PowerPoint sent through to you. But it's just to show you and explain to you that the book is very much the central point to all of these opportunities and doors that can open to you. So I'll talk a little bit about a couple of these, and then we're going to break everything down into product leverage, offline leverage, and online leverage. So the right-hand side here next to book is networking. So that was the very first place where I got recognized for being an author, and it's the first thing, if you're not a super well-connected person, is what you should start doing. So what I also get my authors to do is laminate their mock-up cover after the retreat, or even before if they can. So remember how I said we pre-sell the books on the Friday night? So if they laminate their mock-up cover and actually start going out networking and talking about their book coming out, instantly they get credibility, even though the book's not physically there. I have one author on the Gold Coast. She laminated her book cover and she got that much business from just a laminate showing this, because she's like, her book's called Astrolife. So she like does people's charts on combining numerology, astrology, Chinese horoscope. She uses these 5 different modalities, and like that's so curiosity driven, especially for women. And she just like, she's delayed the book by a year because she's that busy in her business. I said, come on, Muriel, you got to get this finished. Come on, because she came to crew for me at the Gold Coast event. And after the Gold Coast half day, like what you guys are attending, she picked up over $2,000 worth of business. And she goes, I think I should be paying you for crewing. And I said, don't worry, enjoy. Like, you know, I love your help, and, you know, you get out of it as much as you want. So purely, she just, and I said, but you got to write your book, because next time you crew, I want to show you with the book, you know. So that's what sometimes happens. Those 10% sometimes have picked up so much business because they've got this mock-up cover, my book's coming, that, you know, it's amazing how it changes. Speaking engagements here at the top here. So these are speaking engagements where you don't get paid. Who here believes that you can monetize free speaking? Hands up. Sorry? Monetize free speaking. Can you monetize it? Totally. Actually, 98% of my speaking is free. I speak at various events, I get invited here, there, everywhere, and you know, people then get to meet me, like me, move on to the next step and so on, and then it results in some kind of a result. You know, corporate speaking is down the bottom left here. I've picked up corporate speaking from an article, from publicity. So getting publicity at the top, of course, they're going to always choose an author over a non-author who says they're an expert in a field. So with publicity, I have, they've seen my article in a magazine, and they've emailed me and they go, is Natasha Denman available for speaking, and what are her rates? And I go, really? Natasha Denman for speaking? Well, I don't get paid for speaking. I was so like, this is a bit special. It was a big corporate jeweler, like a jeweler retailer for their conference on the Gold Coast in the Palazzo Versace. And I was like, oh, I had just had baby number 3. And I was like, and I need to go 6 weeks after giving birth. And the CEO rang me. I didn't know that I got the gig. Like I put a proposal. I didn't know what to do. I said, what do I quote? So I went to my professional speakers buddies and said, guys, what do I quote? They want me to talk for 90 minutes on social media. You know, my favorite topic. And they go, well, somewhere between $2,000 and $14,000 for that. And I go, okay, well, that's a bit of a range, right? So I quoted 7. I went halfway through, and then I didn't hear back. And then the CEO rings me 2 weeks before the gig. So you're still coming? Are you coming? We want to confirm you. I go, what are you talking about? I said, I didn't hear back from you for so long. And I said, when is it? You know, and I go, how am I going to do this? I said, because the baby, I was breastfeeding the baby. It's a 2-hour flight, yeah, from Melbourne to the Gold Coast. And so I pulled out the breast pump and I prepared. Is this gone off? Yes, gone off. Am I good? Can you still hear me? Yeah? Can someone change my battery? Or give me another one? Oh, what's happening? All right, so can you hear me? Yeah. I've got a good, strong voice, right? Oh, all right. Broke my state. What was I talking about? Yeah, I got the breastfeeding pump out. Use the handheld. Okay. Hulu. And make this go here. Oh, I hate microphones. This is why I like doing events in front of 35, 40 people. I don't have to wear all this stuff. All right, hang on. What's happening? Testing. Testing. Hello. I got it. It took a little bit of a delay. Yeah, and for 21 days before, the conference, I expressed 1 feed a night, and I froze it in the freezer, and I bought my flight, and I went on an 8 a.m. flight. I got in there, I got on the stage, I did my talk, and I flew back home by 6 p.m. that same day. And I did it. And it was the most wonderful experience because it gave me so much more credibility in the whole, you know, with people that follow me and go, oh, look at her, she's doing corporate speaking now. The next year they asked me again. And this time I got to stay at the hotel because they were going to pay for everything, but I couldn't stay the first time. I literally had to come in and out. I had a 6-week-old baby. And yeah, and the next year I charged them 10 grand. I went up and it was really good. But that's not my focus. I'm not into corporates, paid corporates. If it falls on my lap, I'll do it. So what I like to tell my authors to be is you're not necessarily going to do all of these things that you see on this mind map. What I want to discover for you is what are your top 3, okay? What are your top 3 that you can rinse and repeat and do over and have a super successful business? So for me, it's preview events. Right now, this is a preview event. Is that right? It is social media. Where is it? Social media down. He's here. And speaking engagements, free speaking engagements. Those are my 3 things that I do over and over and over again. And they constantly bring me new clients. Some of you guys might get into publicity really heavily and really get out there and get a lot of leads from having publicity. Some of you might want to do corporate speaking, you know, and various different things. So it's not about just doing everything. It's about figuring out what are the best 3 things for you. All right, let's break this down into 3 different areas. So product leverage. Do you agree your book can easily be converted into an online course? Yeah? Totally. 12 modules, that's a picture of me downstairs in my theatre room of my house, standing in front of the big, you know, sort of the screen, the theatre screen. I've got my little whiteboard there happening, and I've got a video set up, I've got my mic set up at home, and I do my own online course. And it comes out awesome, and you know, I put in a little intro slide, exit slide, and all that sort of stuff. Got my little clipboard, I deliver half an hour per module, and boom, I recorded my 12, the online course that we're offering you guys here, that's me doing it in that picture. And I uploaded and I got someone to automate it and all of that kind of stuff, but it was done in 1 day. Maybe you're not as a machine as me, like trying to record 12 half-an-hour modules. I was like having 7-minute break, but I had everything unpacked. When you have everything unpacked, you can just do boom, 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 boom. Okay, video marketing. Your book is a wealth of content that you can build videos that you can actually put on YouTube. Because so many people, actually one of you, no, it was Abu Dhabi. Someone from Abu Dhabi commented on one of my YouTube videos saying, I can't wait to see you in Abu Dhabi tomorrow. You know, obviously they've been stalking me on YouTube, right? So many people stalk me on YouTube and then they go, oh, I've been watching all your videos, you're really exactly like that in real life, you know? So it's really nice because you should be building content. Content is king, yeah? That's how people, so now I'm building relationships with people without having to have the constant touch points. Because it takes, guess what? It takes 10 to 12 hours of content consumption before someone is ready to buy from you. 10 to 12 hours. So how are they getting those 10 to 12 hours of content consumption? So are they watching your videos? Are they reading your articles? Are they reading your book? Are they coming to an event like this? Right? To build enough trust and credibility. So think about that, and that's very important. Retreats, your book can definitely become a retreat. You can take people away on their experience, or you can hire a venue like this for a couple of days, for 3 days, and run a training where you give them implementation. And ultimately, your book can become a certified system. So Ultimate 48-Hour Author quite easily can be, like let's say Moustafa, for example, he says, okay, I might go, I'm sick of traveling so much, I want to stay at home. I could train him up on the whole system and he could deliver it as a licensee or a franchisee. Would you agree? Easily. And I could have someone like that in every country, except next time I do this, because remember what happened with the licensing with Ultimate Weight Loss? Next time I do this, I have to price it correctly, and I have to really mentor and be in very close contact with the people, because you don't want to also tarnish your brand. You have to be very careful who you let near your brand. Yeah? Cool. Next one. Offline leverage. So remember I was talking about the Amazon best-selling stamp? That's the little golden stamp there on Tim Boyle's book. So Tim is a mortgage broker. Okay? So a mortgage broker, and he's niched specifically in helping nurses get out of the rental trap. Yeah? So not just any mortgage broker, but specifically for nurses. And how that came about is his wife is a doctor. And I'm telling you this story because of two things. Number one is Tim is a technological dinosaur. He doesn't like to get on, social media or do all the techie ways of marketing your business. And I'm sure there's some of you in the room that's like, technology, go away, I don't want to go there. So he purely goes networking, creates joint ventures with real estate agents, who then refer him on to his ideal clients, and of course leaves a lot of his books there and builds those joint ventures, which have gotten his business so successful. He actually had to stop advertising to catch up on all the work that he was getting. And last year he did my Bums on Seats mastermind at my home, and he started running events, his own like self-hosted events, and even that, he's like, okay, now I just got to stop, I've got to systemize more to take in more business. Now, the second reason I'm telling you Tim's story is because Tim was on death row when he needed to come to retreat number 3. He needed a full internal transplant. So he was he had 20 hours of intravenous nutrition throughout the retreat, and he would sit here and there in the training, and sometimes he'd fall asleep. So he had every excuse under the sun why he shouldn't have been there, right? And often people go, oh, but I can't do it because of this, I can't organize that and all that sort of stuff. That's just your fear. That's your fear giving you resistances why you can't do something. I've had Paralympians come across in wheelchairs and attend their retreat, okay? So good news is he's got his transplant about 18 months ago, and it was the first time in Australia, and when he was doing the Bums on Seats mastermind, he just thrived. I mean, this guy's full of purpose. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. So I love his story, and I actually flash up this slide on the first day of retreat when we open up the retreat, and I say, if you've got any mental funk that comes up this retreat, you think of what Tim was going through. You got no excuses, right? And I tell him about his story, and you would remember this if you came to the retreat. Last of all, Rach. Here's Rach. So I've mentioned her a couple of times. That's my car in Rachel's cover. We mock up these covers at retreat. So we in Dubai, we're going to have you guys go out to a studio to get some covers. But in Melbourne, we sometimes do the photos at the end of retreat. But Rachel is the online leverage queen, okay? So she created this 8-week online course, and her course is $3,200, okay? And I'll tell you her story, and you're going to see a video in a minute. So she wanted to write a book 2 years ago in February. So 7 days before our retreat was due to be, she's speaking to one of Stuart's ex-clients, Tara, in Newcastle. And she goes, so Tara, I've got this auto repair expo in Melbourne on the 15th of April. And this is 60 days before that day. She goes, you reckon I can have a book by then? And she was totally expecting Tara to say, you're crazy, like 60 days to have a book, right? And Tara goes to her, I think I know the people. So she picks up the phone and rings Stuart. He goes, Stuart, I've got Rachel here. She wants to know if she can have a book done by the 15th of April. And this is like 15th of February. We're going to retreat in 7 days' time. He goes, we've never done a book in like 56 days or something like that. He goes, wait, I'll call the publishers, tell them all the timing, and see if they'll give us the green light. So we talk to Blaze, and we go, okay, this is what it is. So Blaze sets up a deadline, like a timeline. If Rachel misses any of these dates, she's gone. She's not going to have the book by the expo, because she had 1,000-person audience to speak in front of. So we went back to Rach, and you don't know Rachel, and we said, okay, Rach, you've given us a green light, this is your timeline, but if you miss anything, you're not going to have your books. She goes, I'm in. What do I need to do? So signed the agreement, paid everything that she needed to pay, and there she is. I never even heard of this woman. The next day, I'm sitting there on the 2-hour prep, because there's a 2-hour prep before the retreat, one-on-one, and I go, who are you? You're coming next week? Like, that never happens. In our world, we have people join us, and then it's usually a few months, 2 or 3 months, or, until they come to their retreat. And we unpacked it, came to the retreat the next week, finished the book in 24 hours, because her book's a little bit thinner than the other books, about 22,000 words. Why is that? Why do you think she wrote a 22,000 word book? because her target market has a very short attention span. Auto mechanics. So what mechanic's going to read a really big book, right? So it was very clever of her. She still sells this book at $30. She doesn't discount. So she went and anyway, she's finished the book. 56 days later, the book comes out on the morning of her speaking gig. Literally gets delivered at the exhibition centre in Melbourne. And she does the talk. She sells 500 off the stage. And then in the back of the book, she's got a call to action to her online course. So over 70 people upgraded themselves to her online course. Now I'm going to show you a video, and the video was only recorded 12 months after the book came out. It's now been 2 and a bit years, but she did this one 12 months after because I said, tell me what's happened in these first 12 months. Show me what you've done from a complete startup business to what the book has done for you. So I'll share that with you guys.
Hi Nat, I just wanted to let you know how I've been going over the past year since my book Turbocharged was published after doing the Ultimate 48-Hour Author Weekend. So as you know, I received the books in mid-April of last year, 2015, and since then,
Half an hour including the rest of the pitch and explanation about the program and everything. So when you get to the end, call me up so I can start organizing, because we have some pre-qualified people already for you. Are you going to do any photos or anything, or are you going straight to the room for the one-to-ones?
Any what?
You're going to do like talking to people, or you're going straight to the private room?
Maybe 10 minutes.
Okay. So in these 10 minutes, I'll call whoever's been shortlisted to that room, because we already have a list of like...
And we'll do like Q&A as a group first.
The number one thing that I've been able to do with the book is use it as leverage for everything else inside of my business. The workshop was from. So the book and its distribution have given me leverage for paid speaking events. So where I initially displayed the book, where I launched it down in Melbourne at an auto expo, actually meant that the book was seen by businesses in my industry who have subsequently hired me to speak at their events. And the fees that I've generated from speaking because of the book in the last 12 months are just under $50,000, so double basically the revenue of the book itself. It's also led to trust being built with my potential clients faster. So people have paid the $29 for my book and then upgraded themselves into my 8-week program, which is at a $3,200 price point. And I've just put my 70th workshop through that 8-week program, so you can do the maths there. It's also created a level of respect with my industry peers, which I wouldn't have imagined as being one of the benefits before publishing the book. So I'm having a great time doing joint ventures with other auto industry business owners and being in front of their customer base and of course converting those into my own clients, which has been amazing. So all in all I can say is that doing Ultimate 48-Hour Author has been one of the best business decisions that I've made since starting my business 2 years ago. It's taken me places that I just could not have got in a month full of Sundays. Working my butt off, it's opened the doors to so much. So please pass on this video to anyone that's thinking about doing Ultimate 48-Hour Author and send my highest recommendation with it. Okay, Nat, see you later.
How cool is that? Huh? $304,000 in revenue in the first 12 months, book-related activities, yeah? And as I said, like, she is doesn't muck around, very coachable person. You tell her, she does it, and gets on with it. And yeah, she's outgrown Australia now, because in Australia there's only 30,000 auto repair mechanics, so she's gone to New Zealand and America and just doing amazing, amazing things. So that was Rach. All right. That was just sort of reiterating of Francesca that I've spoken about. You'll see her in a video in a little bit. But she's the crazy Italian lady. She's very bubbly. That's why we host the masterclasses together. So if you've enjoyed having me, you'll enjoy learning from her through my trainings that I do, because we do a lot of stuff together. But she wrote 2 books in 5 months. So she wrote Bums on Seats with me, but I forced her to do her own book first. I said, sis, we call each other sis. I said, you have to do your own book because you need to be your own person, and then I'm going to write a book with you. Okay, and we all both wanted to do Bums on Seats because her core business is how to fill events and become a thought leader and build a following. And we actually travel around Australia when we do our national tours. She will help me run my event, and there's, again, the community. Like, she helps me crew, I'll help her crew. She helped me qualify people because she knows who I would qualify. I know who I would qualify for her, and so on. This particular author, Vanita, she's a high-level academic. And I couldn't believe when she posted this. So this is a person who's super quiet. She's like, you never hear from her. Vanita's never on social media. But she posted this in our secret group. We've got a secret community, obviously, Ultimate 48-Hour Author Mastermind. And she posted that in 2 or 3 months, she sold and gifted over 1,000 books. I said, Vanita, how the hell did you do that? I said, I never see or hear anything from you. She goes, Nat, I'm speaking in Thailand and I'm going to all these countries, and I don't know, if you read all of that, a professor of also molecular medicine may write a foreword for my book and all this sort of stuff. I go, wow. I said, do you mind me if I take a screenshot of this and share it? She goes, yeah, of course, because I said, I hear of the loud ones, but I sometimes don't hear of the quieter ones. Then this is Tracy. So Tracy's from the US. So she's our current record holder of the most books sold in the first 48 hours. So she sold 162 books just while she's doing her book at retreat. And that's our current record. I think, Mohana, you might give this one a good run for her money. We've had authors on TV. Deborah Villa is a Sydney chiropractor. So she wanted to write a book because she wanted to do more corporate wellness talks. And Amy Revell is a personal organizer. So Amy is actually our current record holder of the fastest book ever written. Rachel was the fastest one up until recently, but Amy did it in 49 days. Because Amy chose not to speak out her book, and she can type it like 150 words a minute, and she really knew her stuff. She was so ready to do this, and she just typed it all up, I reckon, in about 7 days. And she handed it in and we pushed it through, and she was the fastest book. I don't think it can be done any faster than that, to be honest, because you've got to wait for your editors and layout people to do their professional work. Does that make sense? We've had a lot of publicity ourselves, so this is why we're passionate also to teach people publicity. Publicity is something you might want to tap in and out of. It just depends what you want to do with it. But publicity is something that we're passionate about because, again, the trifecta of you looking famous portrays you as a speaker, as an author, and person in the media. That's your trifecta. So if you have a website, your website should be promoting you as one of those 3 things. Even if you coach, train, and facilitate, the Rockstar website portrays you as a speaker, author, and person in the media. Okay? That's what builds credibility. Sometimes people find this one. A locksmith wrote a book through us. So there's a little 10,000 word book from a locksmith. Now you can kind of think, what the hell did a locksmith talk about? It's actually a little bit funny. So it was about obviously keeping your home and business safe. But then he had funny anecdotes of catching people half naked, locked outside of their houses. And he got on TV. He doubled his business from 6 to 12 staff and then on-sold it. He had the business for about 12 years. Rachel made it to the front page of her Newcastle Herald paper. Lots of people on radio and things like that. And of course, bookstores. We've had people in bookstores. Look, getting into a bookstore is about just getting an introduction to a distributor. Not every author wants to be in a bookstore. I honestly, personally, have no desire to be in a bookstore. I just don't want to deal with that. I'm doing already the things that I want to do. So it depends what your vision and your goals are. Certainly being in a bookstore will give you more credibility and we can get that organised. Tim was very proud to be next to the richest man of Babylon here when he got into his bookstore. And this is what it's all about, finally holding your book. It's the best feeling in the world. You can never wipe the smile off someone's face when they open up their boxes. And to this day, no one has ever said to me, I wish I didn't do this, Nat. Everyone says, I'm so glad you made me do it. And I just absolutely love it because I can see how much they change. And I often say to people, actually, your first book is not about the book, it's about the person you become at the other end of it. Yeah. It is. You're just like, oh my God, I'm shit hot. You know? It's so, so good. It really is about, that's my final quote. That was one quote that I come up with. So over 200 authors in just 3.5 years, and this is the common things I see them say. I'm straight away being seen as an expert. I'm credible. I'm getting speaking. I'm getting media. I have grown personally and transformed. And finally, we have figured out how to turn hot air into something more lucrative. Because most people that we help are in service-based businesses, so now we have a tangible product. Now, some people come up to me and say, well, Nat, can I just write an ebook? And I go, yeah, what sound does an ebook make? What sound does an ebook make? Yeah? And what sound does a book make when you go drop it? I call that thud value. Yeah? It's got thud value. The value of this may be a $20 or $30 product, but you guys don't understand how intangible and massive the value is. Okay? And in this world, especially in your end of the world here, I've noticed actually writing a book is not something, just from the conversations I've had the last 3 days, it's actually not very common. In Australia and America, you feel like every second person's writing a book. And I still can tell you to this day, I tell those people over there, I said, no one, they're not doing it. Everyone likes to talk about writing a book, but they're not doing it. You know, they like to feel significant. Oh yes, I'm writing a book, but they're not. So, because when I start asking more questions, they go, oh yes, but it's been my computer for so many years and all that. So these are our 17 retreat families. So we've done 17 retreats. These are the yay photos at retreat. Remember us taking the yay photo this morning? Yeah? So, biggest yay photo, yes. This is one of my favourite moments, of course. We do about groups of 15 to 25. And yeah, we've done 17 retreats, as I said. So who wants to see like a journey through the whole retreat experience? Yes. You want to see? Yes. All right, this was filmed at this retreat, number 15. I had a really old video and I go, I need to replace that one, need a better one. It looked like it was from the 80s, seriously. All right, so this was done in May this year. Here we go. Imagine you, a published author. Is it time to finally write your book and make a difference, not just in your life, but in the lives of others? Their projector's so bad. Look at my video. Don't write books. Done to everyone.
I've had a big fight with the hotel, and there's a lot of going on.
I mean, thousands of travelers every year that struggle to find the right structure to organize their book for
we're doing
success.
testimonials here.
Is it time to stop procrastinating and start fulfilling that lifelong dream? If it is, then Ultimate 48-Hour Author is your answer. So how do we make it happen? The traditional way of writing a book is no more. Gone are the days of spending months or years typing away at a computer. Maximum momentum is achieved in this retreat-style experience where you're surrounded by beautiful scenery, away from everyday distractions, and people that are there on the same journey pushing you through to completion. In just 5 hours, you will speak out a 40,000-word book and learn exactly how to leverage this book as your business card on steroids. We bond, we learn, and we hold you accountable to crossing the finish line with a published book. You get to work closely with our team, which includes the mentors, publishers, photographers, transcriptionists, and designers. Let's hear from some of our recently published authors.
Well, after I spoke to Nat, I had a strategy session with her where we unpacked my chapters for my book, and she gave me so much confidence about the whole process, and I could really see, the way that she's designed the program and how it really fast-tracked the writing of the book process for me, and I could really see that it's quite achievable.
The value has been excellent. It's been a really smooth process. There's been a lot of support, a lot of pushing. I get really busy in my work and I needed the push. And Natasha provides encouraging videos to support on a monthly basis after the retreat, and I found them so valuable, and they really kept me on target and on track to get my book published and printed in the time frame that I wanted.
With people behind me, the process of writing a book is amazing because it draws so much out of you, and it really is an enjoying process. And my thanks to Natasha for guiding us through this.
It's been a year since I've done Natasha's book, and seriously, if I look back, I just can't believe it, everything that happened to my life. I'm now on my way to a 7-figure business. I literally can't even say it because I can't believe it myself. If I look back, everything that happened in the last 12 months is like a dream. I got 100 events in 2016. Thanks to the book, I got speaking gigs. I got everything that happened to me is like a dream, and I wish that everyone understands that writing a book can really take your business to the next level.
Ultimate 48-hour Holiday is about writing a book fast, while having fun, creating fame around your message, and making it feel like a part of our family. So if you want to see if you qualify for this program, book your chat today. Yay! Okay. This is simple, this is easy, oh my God, this is fun! You get to yell that out about 10 times a day at retreat. Because none of it, what we do is simple, easy. Certainly it's fun, but we're obviously embedding that it's simple, that it's easy and it's fun. And did you notice me dressed up as a NASA space? So something I need to reveal to you, this might be a deal breaker for you, know. Night number 2 is fancy dress night. And every single retreat must have a different theme and a different song. So that particular retreat, the theme was space, and the song was the final countdown, okay? And the hardest thing I have to do now is to come up with unique themes. So November coming up in Melbourne is rock and roll. I can't reveal the song, I can reveal a theme, but I can never reveal a song till the day you arrive there, yeah? All right, so I already have mentioned my values throughout the day, so I'm not going to spend too much time. As I said, these are my F words. This is the flavor that I like to experience my life. This is the flavor of delivery when you work with us. You get these kind of feelings and what we teach. So let's go through the timeline. Okay, how long does this really take, Nat? And what's the process, all right? So we go from D. So D is the day you make your decision. We then book you in for a 2-hour one-on-one prep. Now that prep is now completed either by myself or Stuart. We're sharing them because obviously they're quite intense, so I can't do all of them nowadays. So Stuart does 50%, I do the other 50%. In that 2-hour prep, we go through what we did, unpack a book, make it sexy, and we go into chapter unpack. The most valuable component of the 2 hours is to make sure you understand how to unpack your chapters, okay? Because they're the ones, then I'll coach you how to speak it out, so that you don't have as much work at the cleanup process. Does that make sense? So the chapter unpack is crucial. I can give you a template for it, but you'll have no idea how to use it properly, yeah? So then you get given a checklist. I have like a 19-page mini manual of what you need to do before you come to retreat. And to complete your work before your retreat, you need to invest 10 to 12 hours. That's not a lot, do you agree? Not a lot of work. So these 10 to 12 hours is unpacking the other 11 chapters. So I've shown you how to do one, we've done one together, now you've got to do the same. If you get stuck, of course, we're here for you, we can help you get unstuck. So please don't stay stuck, you call up and you ask a question. Then you come to the retreat. So the retreat runs generally from midday on the Friday to midday on the Sunday. It is 48 hours, right? And we went to a few venues here in Dubai to choose where we would go. Now, I'm not going to reveal because it's a special thing as to where we're going to be going, but it's not too far from here. So in the 48 hours, we do 7 speaking hours and we do 7 educational segments. So it's like speak, teach, break, speak, teach, break, speak, teach, break, and so on and so forth, yeah? Because we're teaching marketing, but so you don't get brain fried always speaking. So everyone has their own room. You must have your own room because you don't want to like be sharing and then, you know, having to speak and confuse each other. So everyone has to have their own room. And then after retreat, we hand in your book to our transcriptionist. So not all transcriptionists are made equal, do you agree? Because some can give you all of your work in one big blob of text, whereas our transcriptionist paragraph stuff for you and does a little bit of the cleanup. You certainly have to do your own cleanup again, but it looks a lot more manageable, right? Then you've got your 15 hours of cleanup. So it takes about an hour and a half for you to go through your transcript, to tighten it up a little bit. If you've forgotten to add something, add whatever you want to add, remove whatever you want to remove, and then that's it. That's it. So let's say 25 hours outside of your retreat is your book project, and that's done. You then go into P. P stands for publishing. There are 3 key stages of publishing: editing, layout, and print. Okay? And this process can take anywhere between 8 to 16 weeks. Okay? So this is where the experts have it. They'll send it back and forward with you for you to answer any questions and to get it refined and looking that it's ready to be, printed and published and go into bookstores. Make sense? Yeah? So why is this process sometimes shorter, sometimes longer? Because if you're going to leave your email sit in your inbox for 2 weeks, you're going to delay the whole process. So I suggest the minute you get an email from your editor or questions that they need answered, that you get onto it in the next 24 hours. Then you're moving the process along a lot faster. Any questions about the timeline? That's all it is. It's pretty simple. Yes?
Question about not the timeline, but how's it going to work on a local level since all your expertise
Yep.
is in Australia and we live here?
Yes? So we're coming to do the retreat here. We have secured a printer also locally here. Okay? We have secured a photography studio where the photos will be done. And Moustafa's obviously on the ground here. So everything that we need will be replicable. We are going to still use our Australian editing team and everyone, because they're the guys that we trust and know and like and everything. And we're doing the same for the Americans, even with the American spelling. So you guys need to choose whether you want American spelling or Australian spelling, because it differs. Yeah? So we do one or the other. It works exactly the same. Throughout this whole day delivering this event, I've forgotten that I'm even in Dubai. Because all of you guys, people are not different in any other parts of the world. Like, we're all people as long as we're speaking the same language and we can understand each other. The strategies still work and are transferable. Yeah, and I've never felt like, oh, my system won't work here. Of course it does. Yeah, so I've chosen, my transcriptionist is in Canada and my publishing team is in Australia. And with Blaze, who you saw in the video, she will be sitting down having 15-minute Skype chats instead of bringing her here. She did that in America. She sat down with people and everyone, one after the other, went and talked to her, because we do want you to have a personal conversation with her as well. Yeah, because then she'll allocate you. Does that answer the question? Yeah, cool. We'll have informal Q&A in a second. Let's now watch our bamboo video. Do you remember the bamboo video? Yes. Yeah, let's watch what happens and then we can move into the next stage. All right.
5 years, he realizes it would be folly to give up. Then comes the morning when the whole village is jolted awake by the cries of joy from the farmer. They watch startled from their windows as he runs down the dusty road calling for his family to come see. As his family races back up the road after him, the rest of the village pours from their houses to see what has this crazy farmer so excited. They find the family clustered around the spots, talking excitedly. From the edge of the road, they can see green sprouts thrusting out from the barren ground. They seem to be growing before their very eyes. The farmer is dancing. The miracle has happened, he cries. The miracle has come. The spots become the place for everyone in the village to come, watching in amazement as the bamboo grows and grows and grows. 5 feet, 10 feet, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. In just 6 weeks, the bamboo has grown 90 feet tall. 5 years of nothing, and now this. 90 feet in 6 weeks. It is truly a miracle. The farmer stands to the side. He is aware all his dreams have come true. The harvest of the bamboo will provide all he dreamed of for his family. The bamboo that will replace what is harvested, springing forth from the deep roots forming during the last 5 years, will provide for generations to come. He also realizes the lessons he has learned are far more valuable. He learned to plant a dream. He learned to do the daily things that would make it a reality. He learned to ignore those who said it couldn't happen. He learned to push past his own fear and doubt and keep taking action. He learned to have faith when there was no reason to have faith. Now he smiles every time he walks through the village. Everyone is hauling buckets of water to their own spots, gazing over at his towering 90 feet tall bamboo. They know what can happen because of him. Because of his willingness to blaze the trail and make his dream come true. What about you? What are you willing to do to make your dreams come true? How long are you willing to work? How long are you willing to take action? How long are you willing to push past your fear and doubt? How much faith and belief are you willing to have? I hope your answer is one that will help you achieve all you dream of in life. As you continue to dream, do so knowing that someone believes in you enough to send you this movie. Someone believes in you enough to make sure you understand the miracle of Chinese bamboo, because they believe you can create miracles in your life.
What did you think? You like it? Yeah? It's a beautiful metaphor for what Ultimate 48-Hour Author stands for. Like, I was at the Professional Speakers Association where last year, not where I met Moustafa this year, and they gave us this task, pick a metaphor. What does your business stand for? What does it do, And we brainstormed, and one guy said, I think your business is like the miracle of the Chinese bamboo. And then I found this video and, cut it into 2. And I go, yeah, it's awesome. So I started playing it and people really love it because it can be that seed that you guys have had for a long time that you've been nurturing and thinking about and all that sort of stuff. The point is you just have to say yes, back yourself, and let's get on with it, get it out there. And 90 feet in 6 weeks, that's pretty massive. And it is about becoming a trailblazer. Don't worry what other people are saying, because they'll wish they were you, when you have followed through, right? So let's go through the authors that we invite into our program. So as I said, we do invite you into our program. It's not for everybody, and I don't need any more clients, right? I love to help more people to grow their business, but to me, it's like I've set up my life, it's going really well and all that sort of stuff. I actually want to work with nice people. In Australia, I hope this doesn't offend anyone, but we say we have a no dickheads policy, okay? So, we don't want to work with anyone that's going to, we want to enjoy it, have fun together and build whatever legacy you want to build together. Okay, so I hope that wasn't too much, but that's what we call it. So we're looking for people who are decisive, who are resourceful and absolutely coachable. So let's rewind back to what we talked about in the beginning about where the prices and all that sort of stuff. And yes, prices are quoted in US dollars. So we've got the standard investment. Anytime you want to come back in 3 months, 12 months or whatever, as long as the program hasn't gone up in price in regards to where we are at, because over the years we have increased. It's $20,000 at the retreat level and $3,500 at the do-it-yourself online support portal. The fast mover price, so it's $15,000 or $2,000, which is available within 48 hours of this event. So you will need to have paid your deposit and signed your agreement. And then, of course, there's a little bit of an incentive. If you want to pay up front, it's $14,000. And just to remember that 500 copies of your books come What we are also doing for you guys, we're not just printing, like your initial 500 copies of your books will be printed here, and you can certainly use the local printers on and on and on as much as you want. But we're also setting up your book on Ingram Spark. Now, Ingram Spark is an international distribution hub, if you like, whereby your book will be set up on print on demand, which means if someone buys your book in America or another country, you can literally go in there, put the person's address, and it'll be uploaded on them. They'll print, pack, and send. Okay, so you don't have to do it. For your local stuff, of course, have your locally printed books. I actually prefer my locally printed books over my print-on-demand ones. So I always carry my local ones, and then a print-on-demand. Like if people don't compare the two, they can't tell any difference, right? But that's an awesome one. What Ingram Spark does, they distribute to thousands of online resellers like Amazon, like Barnes & Noble, all of the people, Booktopia, Book Depository, all of those guys will have your books uploaded as well. So you'll have two printing options. And that's what we did for the US guys as well. Because over there, we just pretty much supplied their 500 books from print on demand, whereas you guys have Moustafa here who's secured an awesome printing deal with the local printer, which is also much faster. Like he's saying, like the turnaround will be super fast. I don't know how many days, like a few days, Moustafa, like for.
A lot shorter because there's no shipping.
Right.
I'll
yeah, cool. All right, beautiful. So this is our payment plan breakdown in case, I mean, it would have been on your sheet down the bottom, but I'll just explain it properly. So we lock in your spot for a $2,000 deposit. We then can do 5 months of $2,600, which equals $15,000. So that's what our payment plan looks like to make it more cash flow friendly for people. The special mega bonus that we have for the ultra super fast people is that the first 3 retreat authors to join us today will get a room upgrade at our hotel at retreat. And the first 5 online course participants will receive a one-on-one book critique by me or Stuart over Skype, which we charge $1,000 per hour. Stuart and I charge $1,000 an hour. So to get a book critique and to fine-tune what was happening here and to get guided, you know, that will happen. So for the online course participants. Oh, here's Stuart. All right, just a quick video.
Hey guys, Stuart here. Now I hope you've had an amazing workshop with Natasha and that you've got some super fantastic ideas for what your new book might look like. Now, as you know, Natasha and myself need to speak to you to see, one, if we feel as though you're a good fit for what we do. We also want to make sure that we can get the best result for you. So can we see a way that we can leverage and monetize the book? And also where it can lead you in the future. So in a short 15-20 minute discussion, we can get you to book in with one of us. We will really make sure that writing a book is the best thing for you right now and how we can go about doing it with our ultimate 48-hour author program. So I'd love to hear from you. I'm on standby, ready to take the call as per usual, but I can't come to the events in person. I look forward to speaking to some of you soon. Ciao.
All right, so that was Stuart. Of course, the structure of the qualifying is a little bit different here. And we've done as much pre-work and looking at these forms as much as possible. And Moustafa is going to give us the logistics of how we're going to roll this out because of the amount of people that are here. So we'll, just to let you guys know, the retreat is the 19th to the 21st of January.